Hi, I'm Josh Bell with the Miami Marlins. I wear Neuroguard to help with strength and coordination when I'm in the weight room and help with balance when I'm on the baseball field.
One of the most comfortable, reduces concussion, increases performance. You can't get a mouthpiece like that on the market.
Not only is it a great product, it's super easy to use. I recommend it for any player, any age, at any level. Thank you guys so much, and go check out Neuroguard Plus.
Neuroguard mouthpiece makes it easier to breathe while playing basketball. The unique design is not as bulky as any other mouthpiece and makes you feel safe in concussions.
Neuroguard really controls my breathing while I'm riding. It stops me getting concussions while I'm riding. It's very easy to use, so go pick one up today.
I'm still doing stunts. In the concussions I've got, I feel much safer with that. I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing a whole lot better in the gym. So Neuroguard Plus, once this one wears out, you've got a customer for life, because I'm telling you people, Neuroguard Plus is the way to go, and me, Mark Ash, says so.
Parents, kids, coaches, Neuroguard. It's the future. Stay tuned.
All right, everybody, now's the time. Brown right, motion, tailback slant. Let's put the women and children to bed and go looking for dinner, all right? On one, ready? Go, 13! Coming up, go, 13! Hey!
It's been a long day of football, and not necessarily great football, but I think we finally have ourselves a great game. Hello, everybody. Terry Bennett here, sideline to sideline, the state championship watch party. As we finished tonight with the Class 3A Division II state championship, we've put 2A to bed. We're about to put 3A to bed. Again, congratulations to Hamilton, Munster, and now Yoakum. It is kind of cool, even though the games haven't been really competitive. The Hamilton Yoakum, Joaquin game was competitive. It just didn't have a lot of excitement into it, but it's still awesome that you have Hamilton and Yoakum both getting their first state championships in football in this year. Tonight, Wall versus Newton. A battle of styles, a battle of regions. I mean, you're talking about Wall and Newton about as far away as you can get. And I think we're going to have ourselves a great game tonight. So what we're going to be doing is what we always do. We're going to have our pregame stuff where Grant, Coach X, and I break down the game, and Chris Welch breaks down the game. And then we also have Kevin's numbers. In fact, that's where we're going to start. We're going to start with Kevin's By the Numbers. Here's the pregame show. I'll be back here in about 20 minutes, and we're going to watch and talk some football. So tell your friends, jump on in. If you want to chat, if you're watching us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, any of those, all you got to do is chat there, and I will see the chat as it pops up on our studio chat. So we'll be back here, but here's By the Numbers.
Welcome back to the Altex Welding Supply By the Numbers. It's Week 16, State Championship Week at AT&T Stadium. I'll take a look at classifications 4A, 3A, and 2A. I'm Kevin McPherson, here to present By the Numbers for the Sideline to Sideline podcast. So let's get started. Our first number is 11, the total number of plays that the Munster offense was able to generate in the second half against Groover. Yet the Hornets defense, it had to be tired, but it held on for a 21-18 win. Munster got a 71-yard touchdown pass from Carney to Cunningham, just over 9 minutes left in a game that featured 5 lead changes. They'll be taking on Shiner. That Shiner defense showed up again against Mount Enterprise. The Comanches give up just 10.7 points per game. This is a rematch of the 2024 title game. It's Shiner's defense against the Munster offense, averaging almost 450 yards per game. That will be the nightcap Wednesday at AT&T Stadium. Our next number, 23 for Joaquin, the total number of unanswered points in their upset win over number 1 Refugio last week. The Bobcats led 28-14, but an onside kickoff and then a fumble on a kickoff return helped the Rams. Could it be the year for the slot team mafia? Well, the Rams average more than 300 yards rushing on offense, and they take on a Hamilton team that is a balanced offense. Hamilton averages 181 yards passing, 179 yards rushing, and for both teams, this is their first trip to the state title game. So really, it will be who blinks first, perhaps, in that 11 a.m. kickoff on Thursday at AT&T Stadium. Our next number, 12. That's the number of sacks for the Newton defense against East Bernard last week. Of course, East Bernard playing without their leading rusher, but it was big plays by the Newton offense that also contributed to a blowout win. Newton with 4 plays over 56 yards. Of course, Newton again will be faced against a very versatile passing attack in Wall. And really, this game might boil down to the Wall passing attack against the Eagles' defense. Speed will definitely be on display. Wall has thrown for more than 4,000 yards, but the Newton defense relies on speed and tenacity. That game, 7 o'clock Thursday night. Our next number, 27. That is the combined points per game allowed by both teams in the Class 3A Division I Championship, Yoakum and Grandview. We might expect a shootout here. Of course, Yoakum is led by SMU commit Xavier Barnett and a freshman running back, Jamarquise Robinson, but Grandview may have a matchup problem with wide receiver Blue Hubbard, 6'2", 223 pounds. That's a 3 o'clock Thursday kick at AT&T Stadium. Our next number, 45. That is the length of the game-winning field goal for Stephenville kicker Brighton DeVito in a 24-21 win over defending state champion Salina last week. The Yellow Jackets gunning for their 7th state title. They average almost 47 points per game, but they are meeting perhaps the best defense, maybe in all classifications, but definitely Class 4A in Kilgore. The Bulldogs have 3 shutouts. They're giving up only 8.5 points per game. That is our first game Friday at AT&T Stadium. So again, maybe another offense versus defense showdown. The last number for Week 16, and by the numbers, is 19. That is the combined state championship game appearances for both Carthage and West Orange Stark. Call this the pedigree or the blue blood matchup. These two teams have actually only played one time since 1977, and that was in the 2013 quarterfinals when Carthage eliminated the Mustangs 28-14. Both these teams have 14 titles combined in their trophy shelves. Carthage seems like an unstoppable freight train this year, averaging 51.5 points per game, putting up 63 points in 3 of their playoff games. The West Orange Stark defense, 19.4 points per game. The Mustangs, of course, started 2-3 this season, so a bit of a surprise in their run through Region 3. But they are the true underdog, and they have the true underdog representative and running back Kelby Jefferson, all of 5'3", 150 pounds. This is a 3 o'clock kick Friday at AT&T Stadium. The Altex Welding Supply, by the numbers for Week 16, presented by Altex Welding. Altex is an independently owned provider of industrial cylinder gases and welding products. They serve all of Texas and its businesses, schools, and the many talented welders across the Lone Star State. Now, back to Grant and Terry on the Sideline to Sideline podcast.
All right, we are back here on the pregame show, and this is a legitimate first. We have Grant Goodwin, we have me, and we have Coach X live here on our pregame shows this year. Thanks for being here, Coach X.
Hey, man, you guys asked me to do this, and, after some solid convincing, I finally agreed to it. But, I'm a busy man. I can't
Did you ask him?
No, I really didn't.
I didn't ask him.
No.
How the hell did you get on here?
I got 17 emails and 4 texts about we need you. And I said, finally, after a while, I said, okay, I'll give in.
We need Lindell Eagle fan to watch the show, and we know you rage bait him. Playoff tree.
Wait, who's that? Who y'all talking about?
The Lindell fan on Smokey that absolutely hates Coach X.
He hates me, and you know what? It's like Adam said.
Got a brother in arms.
Like, shut up. Like Adam Sandler said in Wedding Singer. Yeah, well, I have a microphone, and you don't, Eagle fan, so you will listen to every word that I have to say.
Hey, man, real quick, Coach X, how's Snickers doing?
Snickers,
the dog that I rehomed to you during the Christmas party last year.
Yeah, I sold him.
No, okay.
Hey, what? I had left the Christmas party, I guess, at this point. What are y'all talking about?
I thought I think he's making that up. Who the hell did I give Snickers to?
I
don't know. Okay.
Somebody was hungry, I guess. I don't know.
I'm around you all football season, and I don't remember a dog. Are you sure you didn't take the neighbor's dog again?
I thought he was doing the hungry, why wait? Have a Snickers or whatever.
No.
I thought he was doing something like that as well.
I gave a dog away, and I thought I gave it him. Never mind.
I was going over my.
Can we
production
cut that?
notes.
Never mind.
I was going over my production notes, and I did not see anything about a Snickers. So I was like, "Where is this going?"
I did once give a cat to Grant. That's a true story.
I did, and my evil ex-wife still has it, and that is a mean cat, by the way.
That's why I gave it to you. Anyway, it is state championship week. Of course, we're going to be picking all of the state championship games and talking about them 4A, 3A, and 2A. But before we do that, just overall, what were y'all thoughts on the 2025 season?
Who goes first?
You go.
Me?
Yeah, go.
Man, so the regular season kind of played out kind of like what we thought, but man, when we got the last 2 rounds of the playoffs, things really started getting interesting, right? A lot of really good semifinal games, and some of them were upsets, and I just thought, we got new blood, right? I mean, outside of a few blue bloods in there, we still got some new blood this weekend, and I cannot wait.
Yeah, it was just good to be back coaching football after that trip through the Pacific Northwest. There's a lot of weird women up there, dude. I'm just telling you right now.
But they're usually kind of easy, right?
No, that's what they want. That's what they want you to think. You get them up there and they see a straight white man and they like lure you in with
it was that Trump tattoo on your chest is what it was.
It was. I mean, they lure you in with dreams of cotton candy and open legs and ganja and all that stuff. And then those things are all taken away and snapped shut at the wink of a hat. When that door locks, there's some weird stuff that happens to you up there. So it was great to be back in the great state of Texas. And then y'all never really talk about my junior high C team, but we won the district we're in. We went 3-0. We went 3-0. We only had 3 games, but we won them all. All the other teams were scared. All right.
I heard that 125-pound nose guard you had really tearing up the district and the C team.
It was hard. It was hard to get him on the field because he didn't have an ear. He had a prosthetic ear. And so,
prosthetic ear. Did he hear through it?
He couldn't. I mean, we tried. Like, hey, I was going to make him the quarterback, and I was going to speak into the ear and see if he could hear me out on the deal because we couldn't afford the communication system. It didn't work.
Y'all don't have the Apple iWatches on the C team.
We don't have that. We had the Apple. We had the eye ears, and so we tried that.
which
But
was Mickey Mouse ears.
it was, dude. It was that, and so
Civil War
his-
thing that stuck out.
his prosthetic ear kept coming off every time he got hit, and we'd have to try. And then
Well,
Yeah.
the weird thing is they had a 125-pound nose guard, but a 275-pound running back. So it's the dynamic of the junior high C teams that are always fun.
we had a
That
decent
275 pound running back who runs with like a 8-second flat 40 is the superintendent's kid, right? So you had to put him back there.
Yeah,
He's,
but
hard
nobody
to,
tackle him.
he's really hard to tackle. It's like it was like a Vader from WWE, dude, if you remember Vader. But yeah, we did have a one-legged deep snapper too. He snapped it and he rolled. He was pretty good. But other
Man,
than
I
that,
can't wait to see this C team when they get up to varsity.
hey, they'll be ready to go. Those guys would stick you. All right.
Oh man,
Dude,
can you get us
literally.
sideline credentials to see
I
one of
can,
y'all's
you know,
games?
we play on Thursdays. We
Okay.
usually kick off around 4, so it's going to probably be tough for y'all to get here. But
Or
we'll figure
varsity or the
figure
C
it
team?
out. No, it's the seat.
I'm
The
just saying, if
varsity.
you
Okay,
wanna-
but when they make it to varsity, will you
Oh,
get us
yeah.
sideline passes so we can
The
come see
varsity.
these guys?
We'll do that. The varsity C team. We'll do that. We'll have
Y'all have a varsity C team.
each one of them will have a little patch on their jersey of BC, and everybody will be like, "Man, they got a lot of captains." No, those guys were on the C team 6 years ago.
I'm just
Y'all
gonna
play
say-
Huntington and you play Paris Chisholm.
Tulia and Tornilio.
I'm just gonna say,
Anthony.
if you want to impress me, instead of a one-legged snapper, give me a one-legged punter.
No,
Oh,
dude. No,
yeah.
He-
That's pretty awesome.
he's the quickest in the district. Catch, snap, kick, back on the ground.
Going back to the season, Grant and I, and of course, Coach X talking with us in text and stuff, we had talked about outside of 4A, 3A and down, it felt like this was going to be a year of change. Now, in saying that, we do have Munster and Shiner. That's a rematch, but I think that's a rematch everybody's kind of curious to see about. But when you look at Hamilton versus Joaquin, and then especially 3A Division I, and of course, we'll get into the actual state championship when we pick that one. But just 3A Division I was the most interesting because you had so many powerhouses. And yet, at the end of the day, Yoakum is one of the teams that just kind of survived maybe the toughest region.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Yoakum Region 3 and 3A Division 1 is a monster. I mean, Franklin, Columbus, Hitchcock. I mean, even the bad teams are good. I mean,
Yeah, they kind of cannibalized each other, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Especially when you got to, and throw in Hardin in there, right? Who's very young, but is a very dangerous team. And then you got that with Franklin, Columbus, and all. I mean, geez, man, how do you handle that?
You get the heavy hitters, and then you got the ones that are like middle of the road in that region. But if you put them in a different region, they're probably, maybe playing in the 4th round of the playoffs. And like you said, in Hardin and Little River Academy and those guys like that. I mean, hell, you survive that gauntlet. Are you even able to play in the state championship game? I mean, you might just be the walk-in wounded going in. So,
I mean, that might have happened a little bit with Columbus losing to Yoakum a little bit, right? They left it all on the field against Franklin. Not saying Yoakum, wasn't the better team, because obviously they are, but Columbus just let a lot of their guts on the field against Franklin.
Yeah, I mean, one of their starting linebackers was out for that Yoakum game because of the Franklin game.
Yeah,
I mean, and just the emotional high of you played that level, because I knew Yoakum would make it that far, but you guys kept billing up Columbus and Franklin about that it was the state championship game. But I mean, I don't think I missed but maybe 2 picks all playoffs. So, I mean, you have that, that game was built up as a state championship game by sideline to sideline, and those 2 guys other than Coach X. So, I mean, those kids go from that to, to the
I almost missed
my
my Joaquin over Refugio pick. I was close to losing that. I thought there for a while that Refugio was going to win that game, and I was like, I'm going to look like an idiot.
I mean, I picked Joaquin like nobody else.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I think we
I
even
don't
discussed that.
think there was a whole lot of people in the state who didn't think Joaquin would beat Refugio. I mean,
Just you and I, really, to be honest with you.
It's Joaquin.
Terry picked Refugio by like 35 or something like that.
What an idiot!
I know.
Yeah, I know. It's all right. Man, he's still learning. He's only been in this for 35 years.
I've been
So
reading.
he'll get it.
Just like Grant's parents reading how to, teach a retarded kid. I've been reading how to ball. I'm just trying to figure it out. But it is funny though that 2A Division I.
Wait, did you just bring up the book that I found in my parents' house?
That's become such a thread this year. Everybody talks about, like, they legitimately on our Discord, which if you join our Patreon, you can see on Spooky Messages. Everybody thinks that's a joke, like you're just making that up, but that's a real thing.
No, I have the picture of the damn book.
Yes, he does.
Which I will confront my parents once again at Christmas.
But anyway, going back to 2A Division I, and we're not going to talk realignment now, but in saying this, it is crazy that this is a division that's getting 2 first-time state finalist teams, and then when the numbers came out today, Munster and Shiner are moving up to 2A Division I, and it kind of feels like we're going to get a repeat of what we're having in 2A Division II and 2A Division I next year.
Oh yeah, there's a good possibility of that. I mean, that's a great game. Just the square-headedness of that game. Shiner versus Munster. I mean, the beer makers.
Bowl, right?
Yeah, the beer makers versus the cheese makers. I mean, come on, dude. Come on, throw on some lederhosen, put on a feather hat, and start freaking doing some polka dance.
We saw at the end of this game last year when Munster outlasted Shiner in a great game. Everybody looked at each other in the press box at AT&T Stadium and saw what both teams had coming back and saying, we're going to see this game again next year. And lo and behold, here we are.
But the crazy thing is, yes, but then that still was one of the toughest divisions in the divisions that all around. I mean, you look at just what Munster had to do to get through to Region 2 and then to survive Groover, which, man, Groover did everything right in that game. Even Coach Carney said it, and you'll hear it on the pregame for that one. Groover outplayed Munster, but, I mean, Munster has that championship pedigree.
Well, I was talking to a guy from Munster at the Gunner Wall game. He was an ex-Gunner guy, and he had a kid that played for Gunner, moved to Munster, and he was talking about that Munster-Groover game, and I said, man, that Groover defense was pretty darn good, right? And he said, yeah, they were a lot better than what we thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
And that summed it all up, because Groover's defense was low-key one of the best defenses in the region, if not in the state.
They were, and again, when we get to that pick, Munster's also going through some injury issues, which might change how this state championship game is. But overall, though, I think the best thing is it's just been such a wide open season. I know when you look at 4A, you see, and I know Stephenville's a blue blood, but they haven't been there in a few years. Kilgore is back. In 4A Division 2, yes, you've got Carthage, but West Orange Stark, a blue blood, but they haven't been there in a while. And then again, 3A Division 1, crazy. 3A Division 2 is going to be fun. We get the Munster Shiner rematch, but we also get the Hamilton versus Joaquin. Looking outside of that at 5A and 6A, I don't know why. Maybe it's just been a couple years, but I'm actually interested in the Duncanville versus North Shore game again. I feel like that's now back.
Man, we get that one again.
Yes,
for 5,000 years in a row. We get, and both of them were off of at least Duncanville was off of upsets, right?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. This is one of those I think is going to be a Titanic matchup. It's kind of funny. Wall 15-0 versus Newton 14-1. Wall, one of the prohibitive favorites all year long. We've talked about them. But all of a sudden, man, Newton's looking really, really good, folks. What do you think, Grant?
Man, so, I went and saw that Wall Gunner matchup in Stephenville. And Wall's defense, my God, they're quick. They're strong up front. And that offensive line for Wall is really darn good. Landon York, man, he struggled in the first half. Fourth quarter, when it mattered, he was putting the ball on the money. Now, the thing is, that offensive line for Wall has been good so many games this year. Are they going to be able to withstand those edges that Newton's going to throw at them? Because Newton can get pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, and we've talked about this before. I mean, this is the classic, can can Region 1 handle the athleticism of Region 2? I mean, Region 3 and 4 with you guys.
Wall has the speed. If it's a speed thing, Wall, I mean, has the speed to match up with anybody.
Yeah, these are two of the fastest, maybe the two fastest teams in 3A division.
You go and look at what Wall did in the state track meet last year. Exactly. Look it up. They were faster than anybody.
Yep, exactly. Now, and again, you bring up a good point. Everybody wants to talk about Newton's offense, rightfully so, with what they're doing on the year, averaging, what is it, like 40 or 55 points a game.
Yeah.
But I go back and look at the fact that defense is only giving up 11 points. And I don't know if they've played a tougher, tougher schedule than Wall, but I think week in and week out, Newton has played tougher teams consistently, if that makes sense.
Well, you look at what Newton did with West Orange Stark. They basically lost by a touchdown, but if you go back, Newton was driving in the fourth quarter to either go up or tie the game late in the fourth. I can't remember, but they had a hiccup or two in the fourth, which prevented them to at least tie it. So Newton is, playing with the best team in 4A Division 2, right? Division 2. So
here's, I've just been sitting here listening, taking it all in, and just realizing that everything y'all are saying is really, really right, and it's not going to matter. Newton, we're just going back and forth on Yoakum and then whoever the hell they were playing. I remember Grandview. That's where I'm at with Grant. Newton will beat Wall by 35 points.
Wow. See, I don't think it's – I agree. I think Newton's going to win, but I'm telling you, Wall up front on the lines can match up with anybody. They are better in the trenches than most people they play.
The thing on Newton has always been, they're fast and they've got the backs. They always got skill, but they're always, if you can beat them up front, you got to say they're never just too terribly strong up front. Yeah. They are this year. They are massive up front on both sides of the ball. They're huge. Where you're looking, I've seen them on film. I've seen them on NFHS, and I'm watching them just going, those guys look like they should be playing in the NFL. Is that DeMarcus Ware playing defensive end for Newton?
Right. And that's what's gonna get Wall, Coach X, is Newton's edges are going to affect Wall's passing game.
Because I watched,
it's going to funnel everything inside, and Newton's got the linebackers shut everything down inside, right?
Yes, and they're the kid that gets overlooked for Newton. When I was watching him play, somebody or Dangerfield. It's their nose guard, and no, they didn't play Dangerfield. I don't remember. Is there whoever they played in the third round of the playoffs? Who they played in the third round of the playoffs? Troop, when they played Troop, and their nose guard is the most undersized kid on the field, and you're like, and he's numbered 20 something, and you're like, oh well, that guy, just an athlete. That guy gets knocked down, gets up, turns, does a seat roll, does a log roll, gets up and makes the tackle. Or they'll put him at nose guard, and then he'll snap of the ball, he loops to C gap. And you're like, oh, that's not supposed to happen. And he gets there. Or he'll be getting, actually get your hands on him. And then Troop, there was a couple times where they're about to bust a run, and the nose guard makes the tackle 25 yards down the field. And you're like, well, you don't account for that. As a coach, you're watching, like, all right, we're going to block the nose and we get past him the second level.
Yeah, you can't wash him out if he gets him back up, right?
Yeah, and then he's making the tackles. So I'm telling you, that kid makes a ton of plays. And I watched Gunner and Wall on NFHS, and Gunner got to the quarterback a bunch, especially in crunch time when it mattered. Wall was giving up like 12-yard sacks and stuff like that. Newton will do that from the opening snap, and they'll be in the backfield. I really think Newton will win by as much.
Do you feel like that Wall has to establish more of a running game than what they did against Gunner to even have a chance?
Yes, they need to win the time of possession and do all the right, average 4 or 5 yards a carry. But even if you win the time of possession against Newton, you could still be losing or in 1 and 2 plays. And that kid they got at running back is ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah.
he is going. And when you're talking about Wall,
Just a junior, by the way.
yeah, and you're talking about, and they're saying that kid might be the best running back in the history of Newton. That's a pretty big thing to say.
Yeah.
And Barlow, the other kids, that Gatson just recently, all the kids they've had, the Foster kid from a few years ago. If you say that's the best running back in the history of Newton, that's like saying that's the best running back in the history of USC or something like that, or Alabama.
And
So
there's another Foster who's a freshman starting quarterback for Newton.
There's always a Foster at Newton. That's the one thing that's never lacking is kids with the last name Foster in Newton, Texas. But you're talking about Wall. They did this at track. They won all state in track. You know what they're not doing? They're not carrying a football and trying to tackle the Newton kids when they're running track. So I just think Newton speed. And everybody says, "Oh, East Texas speed." Well, Newton's really fast this year. And they're also really, really big up front. They're also very physical. They've given up like 20 points in 5 games in the playoffs. Yeah. That's pretty crazy.
I'm gonna again be the dissenter. I like Wall in this game. At the end of the day, in this era, this is a quarterback era, and you've got a senior, Landon York, who has just been phenomenal. I know Gunter got to him some last week, but going into that game, this offensive line had only given up 6 sacks on 338 dropbacks. And I like what Foster's doing, but we're talking about a senior quarterback and a freshman quarterback. I'm going to go with Wall, but I do once again think this is going to be a very high-scoring, exciting game.
Everyone, Chris Welch with High Plains Sports Network got another prediction for you. Next up is going to be Wall versus Newton. Wall's coming out of this Region 1 where I'm at up here in Amarillo. And they come in 15-0, undefeated on the season. Their 28-25 final over Gunter. Man, they showed some composure. They showed some toughness, and I think they surprised a few people. I'm pretty sure everyone thought that Gunter would take this one. Newton comes in 14-1. Their 74-25 semifinal win over Bernard just shows how fast they can score and how much they can score in bunches as well. Once again, I think this is going to come down to who controls that line of scrimmage. Newton wants to speed this game up. I've got Wall in this one, and I think they do win it. I think they may win a little bit more than what I originally thought. Looking over the schedules, looking over how Wall plays, I think their defense is going to show up late in this ball game. I'm going to take Wall 31-21. That defensive discipline, I think, just shows up late. We'll see. Let's watch the games and find out. Thanks for joining us.
All right. We want to thank everybody that's helped us with the pre-games. Chris doing a great job from Bushland. As here we go, Newton versus Wall. Thank you for joining us here. It's been a great day of broadcasting. The football's not been, as far as it's been great, but it's not been real competitive. Hopefully we get that tonight. Wall with the ball to start things off. Good field position after a good return here. And they're going to set up a trick play right off the bat, and they break it for a big gain down to the 20-yard line. They did the throw screen, then throw it down the field. Wow, the guts on that call. First play of the game. Double pass to begin things. Man, you got to love the moxie of the coaching staff right there. So Wall starts off with a big play, and they're already at the Newton 21-yard line. And this is a different, Wall team. A few years ago, if these two teams would have played, they'd have done a lot of the same things in different ways, but they both were ground-oriented. Wall's not like that now. Man, they throw the ball. They fling it. Landon York on the year. Reed Robinson at wide receiver. They have a bevy of wide receivers, and Landon York has just been absolutely phenomenal this year. And Newton gets hit with a face mask penalty, so things have not started right for Newton here in this game. Coach Welch from West Grusk is in the chat. By the way, I don't know if you saw the Chris Welch doing the High Plains show all the way out in Bushland. That's a Marshall graduate. So Wall already at the door of Newton, and another nice play down to the 1 yard line. Man, Wall has just come out swinging. Tomorrow, intern Noah the Pro will be in studios. We've got 2 more games after this one. We're literally at the halfway point. 3 games left, counting this one. We did 3. Been a rough day. Not congratulations to the teams that have won, but Wall scores a touchdown as Braden goes in, and what a great drive. It started with a really good kickoff return, and then the double pass for the big play, and then the face mask on Newton, and now a touchdown for Wall, and the Hawks are up early 6-0 pending the extra point. I think we're going to see a lot of points in this game, by the way. Both of these teams come in scoring a ton. Wall, 48. Newton, 55. Wall's defense giving up only 7 points. Newton's only giving up 11 points. Of course, this is Newton's 8th time in state. They've won 5. This is Wall's 2nd time. They've never won. Everybody always likes to talk about Dallas and AT&T Stadium and Arlington, really, where it's at compared to where all the teams are. This is one of those games where it's perfect. Wall's like 250 miles away from AT&T Stadium. Newton's 260 miles away. So quickly, Wall on the board, 7-0. We'll take a quick break.
Coach Surratt came in 2007, and really what's remarkable about him is how quickly he turned the program around.
The biggest challenge here was just to change the mindset. Obviously, we want a winning culture, but the first thing you got to instill is, toughness. It don't matter if it's volleyball, football, baseball.
He's put Carthage on the map to a great extent.
Welcome back.
Hey, Coach. Are you ready to elevate your locker room experience? Well, at H&H Locker Solutions, we pride ourselves on delivering the highest quality lockers at the lowest cost in the Southeast. As a coach-owned business based in Alabama, we understand the needs of the coaches and the players alike. Our mission is to improve your locker room and streamline your process, and we're coming to Texas. Did you know we offer a free locker program? That's right. We ship all across the USA, ensuring you get the best solutions tailored just for you and your program. Want to learn more? Drop a comment or give Coach Harris, a.k.a. Ty, a call at 256-458-4427, and let's take your locker room to the next level.
All right, we are back here as Wall strikes first. They go 56 yards. The double pass, great play call. Now, in saying that, if it doesn't work, then we're going, what are you doing making that kind of a call on the first play of the game? But that's the point. When it works, you got to acknowledge it, and it worked right there, and Wall stuns Newton with a great drive. Oh, and now we've got a issue with the internet. The app started to crash more and more as I think as the game, more and more people are watching right now. Having to reset real quick. All right, loading back in. So anyway, great start for Wall, 7-0. They lead. Little pooch kick, gonna find a little spot. Good job by the Newton return man to grab it and get a nice return. So this is gonna be an interesting. Wall is a fast team. I know you have these perceptions of teams in deep Southeast Texas like Newton. They're gonna always have speed, which they do. Wall is gonna be more about big blockers, which they have, but Wall's pretty good in track. Isaiah Foster, the freshman, as we joked about on the pregame show, there's always a Foster in the Newton. They kept talking about that in Munster, Walterscheid. There's always a Walterscheid in Munster. There's always a Foster in Newton. And here's Newton with a big play to start things off as all the way across the 50 to the 45-yard line. I think this is going to be one of those type of games, folks. Porter with one carry, 27 yards to start things off. Now we have a stoppage in play. Oh, chain got hung up. Porter once again gets a big play inside the 25 down to the 20. Aiden Waldrop says, let's go Newton. They trail 7-0, but they're driving right now, 2nd and 9. Welcome to the 2,500 people joining us here on this broadcast. Newton Athletic Booster Club says, let's go. Welcome, man. Glad to have you all here. Devin Samuel with a big run, and man, it feels like all gas, no brakes right here. It's just crazy how with Wall now throwing the ball, how different these two teams are. Newton, it's not 90%, but a bunch on the ground. Wall, it's Landon York. It's throwing the ball down the field. But they have a sneaky good run game, just like Newton has a sneaky good pass game with Foster. So Porter with a direct snap now inside the 5 down to the 3. So 8:03 left here in a very fast-paced game. Wall's up 7-0. Newton's knocking on the door. Fumbled snap, able to grab the ball, but loses yards, and now it's 3rd down and goal. And those are those type of plays in a game like this where you feel like there's going to be points on the board. You've got to convert. You can't have bad snaps and fumbles inside your opponent's goal. I mean, this might be a game where 40 points wins it. Fourth down and goal. Porter just a foot short. You got to feel like Newton's going to go for it right here. The 4th down and 1 for Newton here at the goal line. I'm going to say they're going to put it in, and it's a quarterback keeper. Foster with a touchdown. Folks, we got ourselves a shootout. Man, what a response. After Wall goes 56 yards and a touchdown, Newton responds with 68 yards and a touchdown. And you saw both teams doing what they do best. Wall throwing the ball, Newton running the ball. And they're going to run for 2 right now, and they're going to get it. What a gutsy call right there. Newton takes the lead 8-7 with 7 minutes left in the first quarter. Man, this has already been an explosive start to this game. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Josh Bell with the Miami Marlins. I wear Neuroguard to help with strength and coordination when I'm in the weight room and help with balance when I'm on the baseball field.
One of the most comfortable, reduces concussion, increases performance. You can't get a mouthpiece like that on the market.
Not only is it a great product, it's super easy to use. I recommend it for any player, any age, at any level. Thank you guys so much, and go check out Neuroguard Plus.
Neuroguard mouthpiece makes it easier to breathe while playing basketball. The unique design is not as bulky as any other mouthpiece and makes you feel safe in concussions.
Neuroguard really control my breathing while I'm riding. It stops me getting concussions while I wreck. It's very easy to use, so go pick one up today.
I'm still doing stunts. In the concussions I've got, I feel much safer with that. I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing a whole lot better in the gym. So Neuroguard Plus, once this one wears out, you've got a customer for life, because I'm telling you people, Neuroguard Plus is the way to go, and me, Mark Ash, says so.
Parents, kids, coaches, Neuroguard. It's the future. Stay tuned.
Coach Surratt came in 2007, and really what's remarkable about him is how quickly he turned the program around.
The biggest challenge here was just to change the mindset. Obviously, we want a winning culture, but the first thing you got to instill is, toughness. It don't matter if it's volleyball, football, baseball.
He's put Carthage on the map to a great extent.
All right, Terry, we're back here as we've already seen so much explosive offenses. Wall scores first. Newton answers back and gets the 2-point conversion. They lead 8-7, putting pressure right back on Wall. They're talking on the broadcast about how different these teams are. Wall 4,100 yards passing, 57 touchdowns. Newton at 1,700 yards passing, 18 touchdowns. But Newton, 4,446 yards and 80 touchdowns. Now, in saying that, Wall still has 2,243 yards and 34 touchdowns. 80 rushing touchdowns. Man, that's mind-blowing right there. So here's the kickoff from Newton, an old school straight kicker. And Wall once again going to get good field position out to the 40-yard line. By the way, as Isaiah Stanback, former Cowboy football player, has been doing color for these broadcasts and really enjoyable for some of these, not all of them. They have a different type of crew. Try to do a little end round and it doesn't work. So the first negative play for either team, I think. I need to turn that off. So 2nd down and 10 now for Wall. York being pressured, looking to throw, has a man, gets pushed out of bounds and incomplete. So here we go, a 3rd down and 10. So 3rd down and 10 for Wall here. Oh, put it just a little too far. Had a guy open, and Wall blinks first. Good job by Newton's secondary right there. And Grant talked about how, and Wall going into that Gunner game all year long, the pass blocking has been beautiful. I think it was 338 drawbacks and only 8 sacks. Gunners got to York last week, and Newton so far, those ends are starting to crush in. And like Coach X and Grant talked about, if you force Landon York up, those Newton linebackers become in play. As Wall will punt, first punt of the night. Now we got to see what Wall's defense could do. But so far, Wall's offensive line has been solid, but York's having to step up and has happy feet early. So 5:56 left in the first half. Newton with the lead, 8-7. They get the ball for the second time. Newton, they're 5-time state champs. First time back since 2018. Of course, W.T. Johnson, the late great head coach for them, led them to so many titles. Just a mythical figure. Tragically passed away. His son has taken over. And it has a great record, but they haven't been back since then. And right now, man, Newton's offensive line, and Coach X talked about it in the pregame, they mash. And he was right. One of the things about Newton always is that, man, they're athletic, they're fast, they've got speed. Their line play can struggle at times, especially on the offensive side. That's not the way this Newton team's built. They still have all that speed, but they've got some maulers up front, and we're seeing that early here. Sorry, allergies are just killing me today. You see me, I'm not on the booger sugar. It's the 50-year-old. I've got allergies and a stuffed up nose. As Wall now makes a defensive stop to bring up a 3rd down and about 6. Ah. So 3rd down and 5 for Newton here. A little bit of a broken play, and Wall's going to cover it up. And so after both offenses go boom to begin the game, the second drive, both offenses are going to have to punt. Like that was a broken play there. Quarterback went the wrong way, or the running back went the wrong way. And that ball's going to be blocked. A punt is blocked. The big special teams play for Wall. And it's going to be picked up to the 10. Touchdown, Wall. Wow. Wow, a blocked punt right there, and Wall gets the next big play. Beautiful block punt. Gavin Stinson off the edge. Dylan Sellers, who made the tackle on that third down, gets the block or recovers the punt for the block punt for the touchdown. Now let's see if Wall goes for 2 since Newton did, and it looks like they are. Well, so we now have 2 flags on the attempted 2-point conversion. So let's see. It looks like there's going to be 2 flags on the play, maybe both on Wall. Yep. So Wall gets the touchdown. They try to go for 2 because Newton did. They miss it, so it's going to be 13-8. So Newton still wins that transfer, even though Wall's taking the lead. That's what happens when you're a team like Newton and you go for 2. You put pressure on the opponent on what are you going to do now. But, man, what a big special teams play for Wall. They take the lead 13-8 with 3:55 left. And, man, already so many fireworks in this one. Gotta get the phone so I can keep updates on the NFL and the Dallas Stars tonight. They play San Jose. College news: TCU quarterback Josh Hoover is entering the transfer portal. So Wall kicks off to Newton now as they take the lead with 3:55 left here in the first quarter. Oh, we got a block in the back right there. That's got to be called. So block in the back. That'll push Newton inside their own 10-yard line. Yeah, it's half the distance. So far, Newton's had 2 bad special teams, a blocked punt and now a block in the back. And Newton's got their backs against the wall. Hawks. Get it? Come on, folks. That was pretty good. So Newton takes over now at their own 9-yard line. Oh, but here's a big play on the way. Oh, what a tackle. Oh, it looked like that was about to be a big play for Newton. Still a nice gain, but a great open field tackle. Newton already up to 90 total yards. Of course, Wall has a block punt return for a touchdown, and that what Bill Parcells used to call the hidden yards. So 2nd down and 6, a fast-moving quarter, even though there's been a lot of points. Porter goes up the middle for a gain of a couple, and it's 3rd and 4 now with 3 minutes left. And Newton, you don't want to be punting with your foot on your own goal line right now, especially with this offense. Coach X talked about Ivan Gaston and his ability is, we'll talk about it here in a little bit, as now we're going to have movement on Newton. Anyway, Ivan Gaston, that's who Coach X was talking about in the pregame show. He's number 22. He's not a big dude by any stretch, but they plug him in at that nose tackle, and he shoots those gaps. And as Coach X was talking about, you can knock him down, and he gets back up so quick. Little bit of a hitch right there with the false start. So now it's 3rd and 9. So let's see if Newton puts it up for the first time in the air, and Foster is back to pass, being pressured, gets rid of the ball, and it's going to be a big play for a 1st down. Wow, man. Foster right there looked like he was about to be brought down. Drops the ball off to Porter. Porter breaks a tackle and a 1st down for Newton. Big play for the Eagles right there. KJ Porter gets the 1st down for the Eagles. Still inside their own 20. Oh, and a beautiful play right there. A loss. I tell you what, man, Wall's defensive line, they're getting inside. After that first drive where Newton, of course, got the touchdown, since then, Wall's defensive line is playing pretty good. They're shooting the gaps. Now, the thing when you do that is it's a feast or famine. It's just like running a blitz. Sometimes you're going to win, sometimes you're going to lose. So 2nd down and 11 now for the Eagles. Look to throw the ball. It's going to be caught for a 1st down. Wow. So Newton coming out with the passing game. Foster's now 2 for 2 for 30 yards. And we talked about that. And we had a Newton fan call us out correctly when we talked about Newton's not, you don't throw the ball a lot. And they still don't throw the ball a ton. But he brought up the point that this can be a big play passing offense for the Eagles. And here we are driving. Remember, they started at the shadow of their own end zone now. Good blocking. Newton now, man. Porter fell weird. I think something's I don't think he's injured. I think something's wrong with his face mask. Or maybe he lost a contact. Dalen Alford, the junior running back, gets the 1st down. This is a young team, by the way. Newton's a pretty young team this year. Freshman quarterback. A lot of people felt that this would be the year that they, you go 3 or 4 rounds and then next year would be the next step. They cut that off quickly and just made this the next step. Probably the last play of the 1st quarter, unless there's an out of bounds or incomplete here. Looking to spread it out. Newton goes into the shotgun. Oh, what a beautiful play. Gavin Sisson knifes in as Newton tried a little end around out of the spread, and the Hawks were not fooled. And that will end what has been an exciting, explosive first quarter. Wall 13, Newton 8. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Josh Bell with the Miami Marlins. I wear Neuroguard to help with strength and coordination when I'm in the weight room and help with balance when I'm on the baseball field.
One of the most comfortable, reduces concussion, increases performance. You can't get a mouthpiece like that on the market.
Not only is it a great product, it's super easy to use. I recommend it for any player, any age, at any level. Thank you guys so much, and go check out Neuroguard Plus.
Neuroguard mouthpiece makes it easy to breathe while playing basketball. The unique design is not as bulky as any other mouthpiece and makes you feel safe from concussions.
Neuroguard. They control my breathing while I'm riding. It stops me getting concussions while I wreck. It's very easy to use, so go pick one up today.
I'm still doing stunts. And the concussions I've got, and I feel much safer with that. I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing a whole lot better in the gym. So Neuroguard Plus, once this one wears out, you've got a customer for life, because I'm telling you people, Neuroguard Plus is the way to go, and me, Mark Ash, says so.
Parents, kids, coaches, Neuroguard. It's the future. Stay tuned.
All right, Terry Bennett back here. Beginning the second quarter, Wall up 13-8 on Newton. David Ruffin says, don't sleep on Dangerfield next year. Man, we never sleep on Dangerfield. The problem with Dangerfield is at times Dangerfield just gets in their own way. I mean, they're one of the most inconsistent programs. They can look from week to week, play to play, quarter to quarter, like you will never beat them, and then they just looks like they'll never win a game. It just blows my mind. And Grant and I always talk about those teams you don't trust, and we mean that in all the good ways. Dangerfield always has some of the best talent. It's just at times they're not the best football players, and that's been an issue for a while now. Dangerfield's one of those places that it on the outside looking in, it looks like, oh, that should be easy, but it's a hard place to coach. But they are young this year. Long timeout again. I forget the TV timeouts. It's a little different when you're out there on the field at a game and how quick they'll flip the quarters. Newton on the year, of course, 14-1. Their only loss all the way back in week one when they lost to West Orange Stark, who, oh, yeah, by the way, they're playing for a state championship tomorrow. And that was a great game, 32-24. That is one of the best rivalries in the state. Grant and I have been there, I think, 4 times now. It's been a while since we've been there, but I think we've been 4 times. And it's always just a close slugfest of a game. It's a great measuring stick game at the beginning of the year for both of those teams. They're showing the late, great W.T. Johnson, former Newton head coach, a legend, tragically passed away, but the legacy he built at Newton and what his son is doing now is just amazing. Yeah, Pittsburgh this year, I think, surprised a lot of people. Longview, we'll see. I'm a Marshall guy, so I can't really comment on Longview. Hey, Marshall, by the way, 100 students away from dropping to 4A. That would be interesting. It's crazy to think that Coach W.T. Johnson only coached there for 7 seasons. In 7 seasons, 2 state titles, 6 district titles, won almost 90% of his games. And think about that. His son has done wonderful, but this is his first state championship game. All right, Newton now 2nd and 14 with the ball. Foster gets tackled right at the star. Remember, this drive began all the way inside the 10-yard line after the penalty, and Newton's done a good job of at least flipping the field. I think Pleasant Grove's going to be, they're always solid. They were young this year, and they really, they had Carthage on the ropes at times in that game. Kilgore will take a little step back, but it's Kilgore, as there's going to be a loss. Oh, no, a great job by Porter of at least getting back to the line of scrimmage, but it will be 4th down. Kilgore will take a little bit of a step back simply because of who they're graduating, but they're Kilgore. Athens, they're going to, we'll have to see, but David Richardson, their quarterback was special, man. Once in a generation type. Also, I think, Harrell's going to be a guy that a lot of programs are going to go after. So we'll have to see with them. This time, Newton gets the punt off. It's not pretty, but effective. But here's another good return up to the 30. So Wall is definitely winning the special teams game right now. 10:25 left in the second quarter. They're winning the special teams, and they're winning the game at the moment, 13-8. But the last time they had the ball, they struggled to move the ball. Landon York on the night, 3 of 5 for 32 yards. They've thrown for 75, but remember, they did the double pass, and Robertson hit the big one, 1 for 1 for 43. Pressure, but it's a screen, and what a beautiful setup. And there's a wall of blockers. A wall of blockers. Again, big play and Walls, 1st down. Boy, they set that play up well, and Newton got sucked in. This is what you do against an aggressive defensive front like Newton, is you get them to bite on those screens, and nobody from Newton read the screen. So been big plays for Wall, a double pass, a block punt, and now a big screen play, but a great job by Newton right here. So it'll be a loss of 2 yards. But let's see if they, Wall right now, I know they didn't score, but they've had guys running free in the secondary. York missed one earlier. I kind of feel like we might see a big play right here. 2nd and 12. You're kind of in that no man's land. So 2nd down and 12. York looking to throw. Has all day. Going to throw deep down the right side. And it's going to be incomplete. So he's missed a couple passes here early. And a lot of that can be nerves, man. You quarterback with the adrenaline, overthrowing. If he can find that range, I'm telling you, Newton's secondary is letting these guys run free. See if they go back to that. Now do a little quick swing pass. breaks a tackle. Wall's going to score a touchdown. So sometimes you don't have to throw it deep to get a big pass play. Touchdown by Robertson. What a great job of play design and a great job of running the ball. So Wall's going to try to go for 2 again. Has a man, and it's overthrown. So again, they missed the 2-point conversion, and now they're starting to chase points. 9:33 to go. David asks, he said he thinks Mount Pleasant is building something special. Yeah, I totally agree. If they can keep Coach Cluley, you're right. That defense this year is so underrated until, of course, South Oak Cliff. And Montgomery also got some points against them. But, I mean, they held Marshall to 7 points. They held Texas High to, 14 or 15 points? They just have struggled offensively. They've got to figure that out. So Wall with the lead, but they've now missed 2 extra points. So instead of it being a true, possibly 3-score game, it's 19-18, an 11-point game. In a timeout or in a commercial break right now. I mean, it's Texas High, David. I mean, they're always there. Them and Marshall. I talked about Marshall almost dropped down. That district, and I'm assuming you're probably going to get mainly the same district. I know you're going to have some teams moving up and down, but you're going to get most of that same district. I think Jacksonville is going to move back down. It feels like Texas High the last couple of years, especially this year, kind of underperformed. They were highly ranked, and then they lost it. Was it to Heritage in week 3, and then Heritage again in the playoffs? I mean, you could make the case that if they didn't play Heritage, they might still be playing. But Stanford has done a great job there, carrying over from what Barry Norton did, and they're going to be good. Again, I think they just need to be maybe. I don't know. It's just that 5A district in East Texas has just become so weak. So 19-8, Newton with the lead. Wall with the lead. Newton will receive the kickoff. 9:33 left here in the second quarter. Of course, Grant Goodwin will be joining us at halftime. He's at AT&T Stadium. I think last we talked, he was on his 10th hot dog. So Newton receives. Slow playing at Porter up to the 20, and then he's going to get pushed back. Special teams is the deciding factor right now, and Wall's doing a wonderful job. NFL score into the first, Seattle up 7-3. Of course, they're the Seahawks. Porter up the middle on first down for a nice gain. Hawks defensive line after that first drive is playing really, really good. The East Texas legend himself, Chris Wells.
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
Good. Sorry, a little bit late. Had something to do at the church tonight, getting ready for Christmas Eve.
No problem, man. Wall, offensive, special teams, and now defensively, they're really impressive right now.
Yeah, they're just tuning in. They look pretty strong.
A blocked punt. I think the scoreboard's ahead of where my feed is. The app's messing up, but it looked like Wall had an interception return for a touchdown, but then it got called back.
Okay, I've got 19-8. I see. Yeah, yours just flipped back. So.
Yeah, it showed 25-8. And I'm reloading the app right now, so I might even miss the play. But if that's true, that's a huge big play there. Yeah, now I'm seeing the interception return. Oh no, they got the return. Okay, the other this was after the interception. Okay,
there it is. Okay.
So yeah, this has kind of been an ugly day of football.
Yeah, the earlier I did not expect that in the earlier game today, the 2A game. So.
Yeah, man.
I'm talking about the Munster game. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, totally surprised me there.
You could tell early, and he's going to be a really good. I don't even know if he'll be quarterback, but Shiner playing the freshman quarterback. Once Munster was able to stop their run game, they just couldn't do anything else.
Yeah, they got that momentum, and then it was kind of over. Shiner just kind of shut down, but Munster just dominated that game, running and throwing.
All right, Case and Carney, man, one of the legendary quarterbacks, back-to-back state championships, back-to-back player of the game. And Munster has truly become a power in 2A.
Yeah, they really have.
So I have to ask you, as we're watching this game, the cutoff numbers come off, and you and I are both from Marshall. Marshall almost dropped to 4A this year.
I saw that, super close. That would have been very interesting in that, and maybe that's what they should do. But they're still competitive, right? I mean, they had a decent year. But yeah, that would have, man, you're talking about hurting some people, including myself, if they dropped to 4A, right?
I kind of would like it, though. You could make the case that at least in district play, 4A Division I will be tougher than the district they're in. In fact, in the chat, we have David Ruffin, and we've been kind of talking about East Texas teams. And I think one of the things that's really hurt Texas High and Marshall is that district is just not competitive in 5A Division II East Texas.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting for that district, though. I was reading all kinds of stuff that they may actually shift that district back around and push Nacogdoches down south, and then move Marshall more into like an I-20 corridor up into Mesquite. So that would be interesting if they were to do that.
Yeah, I've heard that, or maybe even, and I haven't seen the true cutoff numbers, maybe even going more into the I-30 with Sulphur Springs and Greenville. I haven't seen Sulphur Springs numbers. I know they were close, but yeah. I love realignment. I don't care to do all the projections. I just love it the day of, just to see all the districts.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be interesting. Man, Wall is just moving right down the field for the most part.
I think the thing I've been the most impressed with is after that first drive is Wall's defensive line, because Newton's got some maulers up front. And after the first drive, man, Wall is just doing a good job of getting penetration.
Yeah, Wall's had a very consistent year as well, pretty much.
The funny thing is Landon York, for his what he normally does. He's actually struggling 5 of 10. He's missed about 3 wide open guys, and yet Wall's up 19-8 and driving.
Well, hey, my prediction on Grandview and Yoakum was pretty close, actually. I was a little off, but it was close.
Man, Yoakum just wow. I was so impressed. I thought Grandview was going to be able to keep up with them. And at the end of the day, man, what Yoakum was able to do, not only offensively, but defensively against it. And I got to admit, I was a little underwhelmed by Grandview's offense, going like, how did y'all put up the stats y'all did?
Right.
I mean, I don't know. It's just weird. That was a weird game. I love their quarterback, though. Grandview's quarterback's like Tim Tebow light.
I was impressed with Munster's quarterback. I mean, that kid just really had a great game.
Oh, and the funny thing is again, comparing for what he did, he threw an interception, which he hadn't done much of, but what he did last year, carrying them and scoring with 40 seconds left, and then what he did this year. Of course, we have a Munster coaching show, and they're going to take a little bit of a step back next year, but they go up to 2A Division I, which actually will be easier for them in that region because Hamilton, who won state, they're going up to 3A Division II. I got to ask you, tell me about Bushland next year.
So they've got to find a quarterback. I'll just say that they struggled this year. There's a freshman that's Britton, and he got just a little bit of playing time at the very end of the year. They moved him up. He's a baseball kid, but got a strong arm, good runner. Not super fast, but just a strong runner. But if they don't find that defensively, I think we'll be okay. But I think 2 things. I think 1, we got to find that quarterback, and 2, for Bushland to compete beyond two levels in the playoffs, right? They're going to have to be able to run the ball. I mean, we know that. I mean, if you can't run the ball, you're not getting to this level. That's just the bottom line. You've got to be able to run the ball. And Bushland's a pass-first team, so they've got to develop a better run game. So I think that's the 2 keys for them. Develop a running game. We got to have a good running back, got to have a good quarterback. And I don't know where that's going to come from at this point. So it'll be interesting for Bushland.
Are y'all firmly in the same division?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we are. Our numbers are right there. So we'll still be in that 3A Division I.
Speaking of shocking numbers, talking about Marshall, Canadian closer to 2A than they are. I mean, they're going to probably drop in the next.
They're dropping. Yeah, the prediction is that they're going to drop back down to 2A Division I. So
wow.
So watch out, right? Here they come again, because they were right for a while, then they moved up, and then they're back down. So, but that team can compete with 4A teams all day long. Well, and they, without a problem, they beat Randall this year. So
yeah, and Canadian's a very young team. They're going to return like 15 starters next year.
Yeah. West Plains is going to be the interesting one, right? They're losing 33 seniors off that West Plains team.
And man, they kind of petered out at the end of the year. I think a lot of that's more just Stephenville, just stronger than what we thought they were going to be. Look at what Stephenville did against Salina last week. Of course, Stephenville's playing Kilgore. And Kilgore, can they finally get that state championship? They haven't won one since 2004. And it's funny because they're always hovering around, yet this is only their second state championship appearance since then.
Yeah, you'll see on my pregame, but I'm hoping Kilgore turns that corner this year. I really do. Looking at them, seeing some of the plays, they're pretty strong. I think they've got an opportunity. But Stephenville is just so balanced and they make great adjustments. I mean, that's what they did against West Plains for sure. They just made really good adjustments that second half, and West Plains was lost. Come that second half.
So Wall,
there goes Wall scores again.
25-8. Now, the score is big, but Newton, I know they only technically throw the ball, even though they have almost 2,000 yards passing. Newton, you can't count out because of their athleticism. But again, the Wall defensive line has just been impressive. They're going to go for 2 again. Man, I hate when you start seeing a team chase points.
Yeah, just kick it. You know what I mean? Because at this point, is it really going to matter?
Yeah. Again, they miss it, so it's 25-8.
Yeah, so now you're losing at least 1 point every time that you're not doing that. So,
yep, it's a 17-point lead when it should be a 20-point. That 3 points could be the difference.
Yeah, they're going to have to make a big adjustment, Newton will, at halftime. Like you said, they've got the athletes to do it, but it's hard. When you get in this game, how's the team respond to that, right? And so how do they come back out the second half? And but it is, to me, it's all about, man, you get to put it all on the line. You got to go now. This is the time not to keep your head down. This time, get it up and roll. It's your last game, no matter what.
I was talking with Coach Billy Mathis of Brock, and state championship games are just different now. And I love the single place, but it's just different. And one of the things he talked about is what people don't understand is when you're in the state championship game, how fast that game goes. Like it's a blink of an eye. You don't you have all this preparation, you do all this thing, and then you look up, as he said, talking about when they lost to Lorena, you look up and it's already halfway through the second quarter. And it's just a lot of times the team that loses, they are never able to just completely establish themselves and establish their game plan.
Yeah. Well, and there's no, well, I'll get them the next time around, right? And when you're playing in a game in a place like this, it doesn't matter if there's 5,000 people or 50,000 people. That's just a huge venue for them to play in. And most of these kids are playing in the team that they follow for the most part, at least 50%, right?
Yep.
Follow. So I think that has a lot to do with it. And if you've been there before, that's a big deal.
Oh yeah, 100%. Again, talking with Carney, with Munster, he talked about, and Shiner was there again too, but it's so much easier the third time around because you kind of know what's expected of you for the week, and the media, the tickets, all that kind of stuff. I want to bring this up. Lounge Puppy in the chat says lots of these schools should be already up one classification, and attendance numbers should be checked and verified, and not taking the word of an attendance lady. That's not really how that works. There's a lot of verification going on. I know of one school, Alto, and they got caught, tried to fudge their numbers. Funny enough, they wanted to fudge their numbers to go up because they didn't want to have to deal with Timpson. So a little bit of a conspiracy theory there, Lounge. The numbers are verified pretty good.
They are, but that comes up every time. Every 2 years, you're going to hear, oh, well, this school's going to pull back because they don't want to have to go up. Or, that was a big controversy here with the Canyon schools, right? Because you got Randall, West Plains, and Canyon ISD. And so there's 3 Canyon schools. Well, they wanted them all in the same division. We'll see if that's going to hold this time around. I think West Plains is going to pop up, but we'll see. I didn't see I need to go look at their numbers and see what the cutoffs were.
I always say I love realignment. We'll have a live show on realignment. They probably bring you on and talk, but I'm not like Matt Stepp. I don't care to do all the projections and predict the districts. I want to see it when they go up. David asks, is Gunner is going up to 3A Division 1?
Yes. Yeah. Gunner's going to go up.
Yeah, and that's going to be interesting. That's a young team. And by the way, they, with a injured quarterback playing a freshman, took Wall to the mat. I mean, that game was an absolute classic. Grant Goodwin was out there. I was watching it, and man, Gunner is just a machine.
I really thought, to me, that was an upset to some degree. I thought Gunner was going to win that ball game. I really did, but.
So 320. Go ahead.
I was going to say Newton's starting to move the ball now.
Yeah, on the game, I mean, the total yards are almost even. It's the block punt. That's the big change, really. Again, special teams has gone Wall's way, not only with that block punt, but Newton had a block in the back, and they had a nice drive on it, but they eventually had to punt the ball. Oh, Gunner versus Franklin's happened before. State championship. That's the one state championship Gunner lost.
Oh, when was that?
Wait, I thought they played in state, didn't they? I'm getting old. I might forget. Let's see. Yeah, in 2021.
Okay.
In fact, that was Franklin's first state championship. It's funny to think about. Oh, what a tackle right there! It's funny to think about Franklin now, but in 2021 they had been to the dance and lost. You remember they lost that epic game against Canadian where Franklin scored late, and then Canadian on a busted coverage by Franklin went 70 yards on one play to basically not win at the buzzer, but pretty close to the buzzer.
You're talking about a tell of two different ball clubs too, Canadian and Franklin. Two different styles of play.
Oh yeah, Franklin, that slot T, man. They
You know what's coming, but good luck stopping it, right?
Yep, and that's why it was so shocking after what Columbus did to Franklin to then have Yoakum do that to Columbus. Man, Yoakum, and this is what we always talk about. It's not when you have playoffs, it's not about being the best team. It's about being the hottest team at the right moment.
At that time. And at that time, yeah, exactly.
Lounge says Kilgore, Liberty Hill both played Carthage in 4A Division II, but both are now 4A D1 where they should have been. Again, man, the numbers change. Liberty Hill has exploded. I remember Liberty Hill being 3A and playing Salina and Gilmer, and now they're about to open a second high school. I mean, that's just you've got these areas where population is exploding, and one of those is that I-35 corridor. I think we're now at a point where I think 80% of the population in Texas basically lives
triangle.
Yeah, and it's crazy, and it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
I'll stay out here, man. There's too many people in there now.
I live in DFW, but where I live in Rowlett, we're kind of landlocked because I live on a peninsula, so I can go into Dallas when I need to, but I also can step outside and see the actual natural lights of the stars.
We lived in Salina, 93 to 95.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah, we did. So we lived up there. We were Bobcats for a few years, and I tell you what, they would have been 2A back then, for sure. And now I think they're going to go 5A. So.
Yeah, they're finally going to hit the 5A numbers. They're starting to talk about a second school. In fact, they might have already had the future plan. By the way, I always love to say this. You got to give credit to Frisco because 15 years ago, they said, we're going to open 6 or 7 high schools, and everybody laughed at them. And already those 6 or 7 high schools are not enough. So again, it's the numbers. It's not just knowing where your numbers are now, it's projecting out. And Frisco's gotten overgrown. Salina's about to get overgrown, and it's just going to keep going north and north and north to where, and you know this, if you drive I-20 from East Texas to Dallas, there used to be 30-mile stretches where you didn't see much. Now it's basically town to town to town to town. You don't even feel like you're in the country anymore.
Yeah, same with 35, right? I mean, you're just like all the way to San Antonio.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there used to be a time when you had those stretches in between Waco and Temple, and then Temple down to Austin. And now, man, you leave Temple, you're basically, it feels like you're in Austin.
Yeah, no, for sure. And even coming up, 289 Preston Road there in Dallas, there used to be gaps between Dallas and Plano and Frisco, and then you had a big gap for Prosper, and then you had a gap for Salina, and then you had a gap to Gunner. And man, you can't tell when you're going from Frisco to Prosper to Salina these days. It's just completely packed up on 289 as well.
Yeah, speaking back on Frisco, back when we did a playoff game, Commerce versus Pilot Point, the play-by-play guy, he was moving to Frisco because Scott Garner, he became the Frisco Rough Riders play-by-play at the time. And I can remember being on the tollway in Frisco and nothing was there. And now, and I lived in Frisco. I lived in Frisco from 2012 to 2015, and I admit it got too busy. You go to try to eat lunch on a Saturday at noon, and it takes 2 hours. You don't have to worry about that in Bushland, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's creeping a little. It's mostly for Amarillo's growing south. So the biggest thing we've seen is between Amarillo and Canyon, there used to be kind of a break, but there's not a break anymore. It's those two are connected. It's grown quite a bit. So I'd say, the total area up here between the two, we're pushing 250,000, probably 250,000.
I mean, there's going to be a point. I mean, it's a point where population growth everywhere, but especially in Texas, there's going to be a point where there's not much country anywhere. So let's speaking of Amarillo, you do a show. You part of that is Amarillo. Paladuro, man, what a season they had, losing a heartbreaker to Anna 38-35. What type of team are they going to have coming back next year?
Just about everybody. They're going to lose two good players, both going to UNLV. One of them had committed to North Carolina, and then he decommitted and ended up going to UNLV. That was their their wide receiver, Darian Lewis, and he had a great year. But yeah, the majority of their players are coming back. Julian Reese, the second, Deuce as we call him. So my partner on the show is Julian Reese, the first. And so his son is Deuce, and he's going to be a senior, 3-star quarterback. And then they've got several big offensive linemen. They got a sophomore kid. He'll be a junior next year. Just huge defensive guy. So, yeah, I think next year, watch out. I think this was kind of the warm-up year. I think Eric Mims has got that team rolling. He coached down in the Dallas area for several years as well. And I think him and the South Oak Cliff coached together, and I want to say either DeSoto or Duncanville.
Okay.
So there's kind of a group of them that all coached together. Maybe they were all at Duncanville together. But anyway, so he's got a great thing going on. So it's real exciting. I love to see Paladura. They've always had the athletes, and if you remember Ziggy Hood from the Steelers, so Ziggy came out of PD, right? And I got a funny story with Ziggy the first time I met him. I was on a plane coming back from Dallas, and he's right in front of me. And we're in the small plane, right? So it's one seat on the left, two on the right. And he's sitting right in front of me, and he takes up almost 2 seats. He's huge. And this other guy comes and sits next to him, and he's a short little dumpy guy. And so he's in the B seat, and Ziggy's in the C seat. Well, the door shuts, the A seat's open. So the shorter guy moves over to the A seat. And I'd been talking to Ziggy a little bit. And anyway, the flight attendant comes back, and she says, hey, she goes, everything good back here? I go, I don't think that guy's in the right seat. He's supposed to be in the B seat. Ziggy turns around and goes, seriously, man? And I said, I'm just giving you a hard time. So that was first interaction. But what was cool about that trip was the Steelers PR group was with them. So they had a couple of camera guys with them, and they were doing his return home to Amarillo and filming a good story about that. So that was kind of fun.
I am one of those, I read the Mighty Mites and stuff, and I heard the stories about what like the Amarillo Sandys used to be and the powerhouse that they were, and West Texas in general. And I know y'all have talked a little big stack right here for a while, and I know y'all talked a little bit about on y'all's show that, man, Lubbock, Amarillo, even Odessa Permian. It's just that they are so up against it now when they play the DFW schools.
Julie and I talked about that on the show just this week, and we've talked about it a couple of times. Big third down here for Newton, though. Sorry. Let's see if they can.
Oh, no worries.
Oh. Big play by Wall's defense there.
The Wall defensive line is just absolutely dominating.
They're everywhere. But we've talked about, I think, two things that's changing. Number one, getting some 7-on-7 going. And I think that's been a big pickup for us in the area. So the quarterback play has just really gotten good up here. And I'll say and Julian will equate that to 7-on-7. So quarterback receiver play. But I think what's missing, and he had a very interesting perspective. He said it's facilities. He said our weather is so crazy around here that in the winter it's hard to do any kind of workouts, right? Yeah. And so he was saying indoor facilities mean a lot to some of these teams. And for us, when you've got teams that can't go out and practice, they don't have the facilities. Bushland has an indoor facility. We are the only one up here that has one in this part. And so that's an advantage to some degree, is to be able to work out all the time, no matter what, all sports. And I think that does hurt a little bit for sure.
Wall forces Newton to punt. And, and going back to our school, Marshall, they've shown you don't have to have a multi-$100 million complete indoor. What they have, and a lot of more schools are doing, is they basically have the cover and then the sides are wide open. So you not only get to practice from the rain and stuff, but you're still in the element, so you can kind of adjust to that. And that's a great perspective. You don't think about that. When you look at the schools that are successful, even when it's a South Oak Cliff, and I think people have such a weird, wrong perception of South Oak Cliff.
Oh, 100%.
They think of it's the projects, and it's not. South Oak Cliff is one of the more wealthy minority areas. Now, there are bad spots of it, but hell, there's bad spots in every
spots
town.
everywhere.
Exactly. And the thing with South Oak Cliff was they just needed a coach to kind of gel everybody together to get the booster club to invest and stuff. And they've started doing that. And I think that's a great perspective. You got to have the facilities. You've got to have the investment from the community and the booster clubs. There's no team that wins state championships without that kind of support.
Yeah, I agree. And our weather is crazy up here, right? I mean,
Yeah.
And if you've never been up here, right? So we sit at 3,500 feet, and we can have 2 feet of snow. I've seen it happen. And so that kind of kills working out for those off-season things outside. So track season's always fun up here with the wind. So
they're showing highlights from last week's game against Gunner. Again, the crazy thing is Gunner basically played with a backup quarterback, and as they're showing, I was about to say, quarterback tragically dropped the ball as he's rolling out, and that's what decided it.
What a punt by Newton, by the way.
Oh, yeah, and they've been terrible on special teams, and yet they nail one right there, and Wall's got to be careful here. Oh, almost a big play right there. Yeah, it's crazy to think. Landon York, as amazing as he's kind of been overthrowing his targets. He's 6 of 13, but he still has 2 touchdowns. But if you think, man, if he's kind of finds his pace in the second half, Wall might end up blowing this out. I'm really surprised at how these 3 games have went today so far.
Yeah, agreed. I'm a little behind you, but I thought they might call pass interference on that.
I did too, because the defender had Robertson's arm pinned against him.
Yeah. Yep. You see it on the replay.
All right, at the half, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to wait for Grant Goodwin to jump in. He's at the stadium, and he'll give us his view and kind of what the scuttlebutt is in the press box. I like this by Newton calling the timeout. You don't get to keep him in the second half. You might as well force Wall to keep having to make snaps and maybe force a mistake.
Yeah, I remember Coach Parker saying you can't take him home, so you might as well use him.
Can't take him home, you might as well use them.
Hey, speaking of Coach Parker, I heard he's getting inducted into the Texas Coaches Hall of Fame.
And he should. Of course, he won a state championship at Marshall, our school. He also, I will always say, kind of got done a raw deal at UNT because he really built that program up, and then they wanted to move up to Division I, and they felt they needed a Division I coach, and they brought in Matt Simon, and then Matt Simon wins a couple of division or conference championships because of the players that Dennis Parker had recruited. His son, Sam Parker, is a very successful head coach as well. You and I, of course, view Dennis Parker. I mean, what he did to Marshall. I mean, Marshall consistently since then has been good. I mean, they've had down years, but before then, man, for 20 years, Marshall, you didn't even think about football in Marshall.
No.
They're going to throw it on third down. A lot of contact. These officials, and I'm not complaining, they're letting a lot of contact on the corners and the wide receivers.
Well, as long as they're consistent, that's what I've always said, right? So if you're going to let it battle, then let them battle it, right? But don't come out the second half and do something different, because you're going to adjust your game based on how the officials are calling it.
Now, I find it curious that Wall did do that, because Newton has speed, and you're probably going to have Porter back there returning the kick. And, I mean, with 13 seconds left, you got to be careful. Lounge Puppy says you went to Marshall. We both did.
Both of us.
We actually started talking and didn't realize it until looking at a Facebook page, and Chris's brother, Jack, was a guy that was very prominent in my life, because him and my dad used to basically run the Marshall Baseball Little League, or we don't call it Little League. I don't want to call it what we call it in East Texas. It's not good. But yeah, it was so funny. I still remember we were literally coming off the loop in Dallas to hit 30, and I'm looking at you, and we'd been talking for a few you, and you said, "Hey, I like your show and stuff. We're at Bushland," and I remember hitting your profile, and I'm like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, and I hadn't put that together on you either, so that was pretty funny. So
all the way out in Bushland, and you're a Marshall guy, man. That just it still blows my mind. It's crazy.
it blows my mind I'm out here without any trees, man.
It's so funny. Every time we go out to West Texas, the trip starts the same. Me and Grant are like, man, we get so much open range out here. Just give us high-speed internet, and we'd love it. And then by the time we're getting up next morning, I'm like, nope, not enough trees. I need more trees. I can see too far down the road. My Pine Tree used to play Marshall. Pine Tree now is in 4A.
So that original district was Pine Tree, Marshall, Nacogdoches, Longview, Texas High, Nacogdoches, Lufkin sometimes. And then you got Tyler, Lee, and John Tyler. So
there was a day, they always joke that the Permian district back then was the old Southwest Conference. And then what was 12-5A, 13-5A was called the old SEC. I mean, there was some battles back in the day, man.
Back when Marshall was making their run and Odessa was Friday Night Lights, the nickname was Marshall was the beast from the east and Odessa was the best from the west, right?
Yep.
So
I still, no time left on the clock. Newton scrambling. Ball is going to be thrown up in the air. It's going to hit the turf. I still rue that state semifinal. Coldest game I've ever been was that state semifinal in Texas Stadium when Marshall lost the Permian. That famously was the same weekend that the toilets froze in Texas Stadium. The next day with Green Bay, and apparently nobody could use the bathroom. Man, I was sick. I had the flu and was so miserable in that game.
that was a cold game. Oh, yeah. Well, I'll never forget driving to the state championship game in '90. I was at A&M at the time, and we drove to my house, and then driving in, and it was all icy roads, and it was nice to play in the Astrodome because I think they said it's 29 degrees and sleeting outside in the Astrodome. Welcome to the Astrodome. It's 71 degrees.
So the crazy thing about that is I had an aunt and uncle that lived in Houston, and they actually were Aldine fans. And Aldine won state the week before. And then we drove down, and luckily we just stayed with them, so we didn't have to do the drive back. But the funniest thing about that is a lot of people don't remember when they split the divisions. The first year they called it Big 5A and Little 5A.
Yep.
They had to change it because Marshall won the Big 5A. Aldine won the Little 5A, but Aldine had like 1,500 more students than Marshall did. So then they came up with we'll just call it divisions. By the way, at half, we've got Grant Goodwin joining us, sir. So let's bring him in. He's in the stadium. Are you there, Mr. Goodwin?
I am here. How you fellas doing?
Oh, we're doing great, man. What a first half by Wall.
Yeah, man. That Wall defense kind of snuffing out the Newton offense, isn't it?
Yeah, Newton had that first drive where they drove the ball down the field. I think Brett Lee made a good point. Odd to say this. It feels like Newton would do better to keep going more in the middle. Wall's doing a good job of setting that edge on those ends.
Yeah, they really are. And, there's been a couple of times that Porter has had a lane, but that lane closes quickly.
How many hot dogs are you up to?
I hadn't had any more hot dogs, but I have polished off some nachos now, and I think I'm done for the night in that regards.
So you're going to eat at least 2 more times is what I'm hearing.
Maybe when I get home.
So what are your thoughts right now? We were talking about this earlier. I'm not saying this has been a disappointing day of football, but, man, these games – and, by the way, congratulations. You truly did call the Yoakum game. But, man, I've been really surprised at how uncompetitive they've been.
Yeah, me too. But sitting here thinking about it, it's so hard to see. Kind of judge between regions. A 10-0, say in Region 1, might be different than a 10-0 in Region 3 or 4. So as big as this state is, it's just so hard to judge. So I guess that's kind of my thinking there. But yeah, it has been a little bit disappointing as far as the competitiveness into the game. I feel like we got a good game if we can get into the fourth quarter within 1 to 2 possessions, one way or the other.
We were talking about this. I think the most impressive thing about this with Wall is Landon York's not having one of his normal games. Yes, he's thrown 2 touchdowns, but he's 6 of 14, and he's missed 3 or 4 guys wide open.
Yeah, he has, but he's got that tremendous defense to play in front of him, so he doesn't have to play a clean game.
So what's your prediction for the second half?
I feel like Newton still has a little life in him. I think Porter's good for a long run to break it, but I just don't know that this Newton defensive front's going to be able to handle Wall just leaning on them this long, and that Wall defense is just going to get stronger, I feel. So I think Wall stretches a little bit. Newton might make it interesting for a while, but I just have a hard time seeing Newton getting back into this too much.
All right, man. Well, thank you for joining us. And, of course, we'll talk to you tomorrow for the 2 4A games.
Yeah, let's pray for 2 really good 4A games tomorrow.
I got a feeling we'll have 1 good one and 1 Carthage being Carthage.
1 dud. Yeah.
All right, man. See you later. All right, that is Grant Goodwin. We do appreciate him joining us. All right, we're going to take a quick break real quick. I think I'm going to try to get Brett from NETSN to join us as well here in the second half. So we'll be right back. Halftime Wall 25, Newton 8, right here on our state championship watch party. Now let me go find the commercial after I did all that. Where did it go? Where did it go? There it is.
Hi, I'm Josh Bell with the Miami Marlins. I wear Neuroguard to help with strength and coordination when I'm in the weight room and help with balance when I'm on the baseball field.
One of the most comfortable, reduces concussion, increases performance. You can't get a mouthpiece like that on the market.
Not only is it a great product, it's super easy to use. I recommend it for any player, any age, at any level. Thank you guys so much, and go check out Neuroguard Plus.
Neuroguard mouthpiece makes it easier to breathe while playing basketball. The unique design is not as bulky as any other mouthpiece and makes you feel safe from concussions.
Neuroguard. They control my breathing while I'm writing. It stops me getting concussions while I wreck. It's very easy to use, so go pick one up today.
I'm still doing stunts. And with concussions I've got, and I feel much safer with that. I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing a whole lot better in the gym. So Neuroguard Plus, once this one wears out, you've got a customer for life, because I'm telling you people, Neuroguard Plus is the way to go, and me, Mark Ash, says so.
Parents, kids, coaches, Neuroguard. It's the future. Stay tuned.
Coach Surratt came in 2007, and really what's remarkable about him is how quickly he turned the program around.
The biggest challenge here was just to change the mindset. Obviously, we want a winning culture, but the first thing you got to instill is, toughness. It don't matter if it's volleyball, football, baseball.
He's put Carthage on the map to a great extent.
Hey, Coach, are you ready to elevate your locker room experience? Well, at H&H Locker Solutions, we pride ourselves on delivering the highest quality lockers at the lowest cost in the Southeast. As a coach-owned business based in Alabama, we understand the needs of the coaches and the players alike. Our mission is to improve your locker room and streamline your process, and we're coming to Texas. Did you know we offer a free locker program? That's right. We ship all across the USA, ensuring you get the best solutions tailored just for you and your program. Want to learn more? Drop a comment or give Coach Harris, a.k.a. Ty, a call at 256-458-4427, and let's take your locker room to the next level.
Welcome back to the Altex Welding Supply by the numbers. It's week 16, state championship week at AT&T Stadium. I'll take a look at classifications 4A, 3A, and 2A. I'm Kevin McPherson, here to present by the numbers for the Sideline to Sideline podcast. So let's get started. Our first number is 11, the total number of plays that the Munster offense was able to generate in the second half against Groover. Yet the Hornets defense, it had to be tired, but it held on for a 21-18 win. Munster got a 71-yard touchdown pass from Carney to Cunningham, just over 9 minutes left in a game that featured 5 lead changes. They'll be taking on Shiner. That Shiner defense showed up again against Mount Enterprise. The Comanches give up just 10.7 points per game. This is a rematch of the 2024 title game. It's Shiner's defense against the Munster offense, averaging almost 450 yards per game. That will be the nightcap Wednesday at AT&T Stadium. Our next number, 23 for Joaquin, the total number of unanswered points in their upset win over number 1 Refugio last week. The Bobcats led 28-14, but an onside kickoff and then a fumble on a kickoff return helped the Rams. Could it be the year for the slot T Mafia? Well, the Rams average more than 300 yards rushing on offense, and they take on a Hamilton team that is a balanced offense. Hamilton averages 181 yards passing, 179 yards rushing, and for both teams, this is their first trip to the state title game. So really, it will be who blinks first, perhaps, in that 11 a.m. kickoff on Thursday at AT&T Stadium. Our next number, 12. That's the number of sacks for the Newton defense against East Bernard last week. Of course, East Bernard playing without their leading rusher, but it was big plays by the Newton offense that also contributed to a blowout win. Newton with 4 plays over 56 yards. Of course, Newton again will be faced against a very versatile passing attack in Wall. And really, this game might boil down to the Wall passing attack against the Eagles defense. Speed will definitely be on display. Wall has thrown for more than 4,000 yards, but the Newton defense relies on speed and tenacity. That game, 7 o'clock Thursday night. Our next number, 27. That is the combined points per game allowed by both teams in the Class 3A Division I Championship, Yoakum and Grandview. We might expect a shootout here. Of course, Yoakum is led by SMU commit Xavier Barnett and a freshman running back, Jamarquise Robinson, but Grandview may have a matchup problem with wide receiver Blue Hubbard, 6'2", 223 pounds. That's a 3 o'clock Thursday kick at AT&T Stadium. Our next number, 45. That is the length of the game-winning field goal for Stephenville kicker Brighton DeVito in a 24-21 win over defending state champion Salina last week. The Yellow Jackets gunning for their 7th state title. They average almost 47 points per game, but they are meeting perhaps the best defense, maybe in all classifications, but definitely Class 4A in Kilgore. The Bulldogs have 3 shutouts. They're giving up only 8.5 points per game. That is our first game Friday at AT&T Stadium. So again, maybe another offense versus defense showdown. The last number for week 16, and by the numbers, is 19. That is the combined state championship game appearances for both Carthage and West Orange Stark. Call this the pedigree or the blue blood matchup. These two teams have actually only played one time since 1977, and that was in the 2013 quarterfinals when Carthage eliminated the Mustangs 28-14. Both these teams have 14 titles combined in their trophy shelves. Carthage seems like an unstoppable freight train this year, averaging 51.5 points per game, putting up 63 points in 3 of their playoff games. The West Orange Stark defense, 19.4 points per game. The Mustangs, of course, started 2-3 this season, so a bit of a surprise in their run through Region 3. But they are the true underdog, and they have the true underdog representative and running back Kelby Jefferson, all of 5'3", 150 pounds. This is a 3 o'clock kick Friday at AT&T Stadium. The Altex Welding Supply by the numbers for Week 16, presented by Altex Welding. Altex is an independently owned provider of industrial cylinder gases and welding products. They serve all of Texas and its businesses, schools, and the many talented welders across the Lone Star State. Now, back to Grant and Terry on the Sideline to Sideline podcast.
All right, we are back. Chris Welch, I don't know if he's still here. I think he stepped away for a second. But we have Brett, NETS and Brett. How you doing, buddy?
Doing pretty good. I feel deja vu tonight in this game, kind of similar to last night's game a little bit.
Good point.
I mean, the similar run team is struggling right now, and the team that's a little more dynamic on offense has kind of taken the reins of it. I feel like Newton, though. I feel more confident that they can come back than kind of the way the Joaquin game was last night. But we'll see. I guess I think that was it's big. They got the ball first here. Yeah. I think it's important for them to score. I think Wall not getting the point afters is gonna. I hope doesn't come back and bite them for them, because they've given 3 points away. It could be a little bit bigger of a lead, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
No, I think you're exactly right. And again, we Chris Welch, he's kind of bouncing in and out right now. I think he's back here as he will now join the chat. We got a three-way. Wait, what?
Hey.
By the way, Brett, that's Chris. Chris, that's Brett.
Going, Chris.
So you're exactly right. We were talking about it, and I get you want to, when Newton came out and scored and they got their 2-point conversion, made it 8-7. I get you want to chase it to a point, but at some point you got to draw the line in the sand and say, okay, we just got to start kicking the extra point.
Yeah, because you do that. I saw it a lot this year covering Mount Enterprise.
Yeah,
they would go for 2 every time, and you get teams that start trying to chase that, and they just don't have that same. I don't know. Mount Enterprise is built for 2-point conversions. I think the same way I would think Newton's kind of built that way. The way they run the ball, and they have 3-yard plays a lot, and so I think Wall just needs to line up, kick some extra points here, and later down, if it gets to the fourth quarter and they need those, to try to get certain point spreads, I think it's fine, but it's really early to start trying to chase points. It's like they didn't like they got behind, and so they started going for 2 after that first touchdown, and I think that's a mistake to me. I mean, I'm not coaching. They don't pay me the big bucks to coach, but I wouldn't chase that. I just feel like that it's not much, but 28 sounds a lot more than 25. It just makes it feel a lot closer here. I mean, Newton goes down and scores, and now it's a 9-point game because if they go for 2. So, we'll see. I think that first drive is going to tell us a little bit about what's going to happen in the second half.
All right, real quick, before we get into the start of the second half, we're still at halftime. Tomorrow's games, the 2 4As, it's got 2 East Texas that very, very well, Kilgore and Carthage. How do you think those games are going to play out?
Well, I mean, I feel like it's going to be in East Texas more than I really do. I think I know Carthage, they're a big favorite, obviously.
Yeah.
Because they are Carthage. I don't want to say I feel like their state championship game has been over the last couple of weeks. Like, when they played Pleasant Grove, they got their revenge over Athens. And, I think that was a personal thing. They didn't like the way the regular season matchup went, and they kind of took it out on Athens there. And then the Brock game, I think that was a statement game to me, because I saw the computers, and I don't know how they come up with that. The computers favored Brock by 3. That computer has a virus. I think that needed to be corrected. Because I
agree.
I mean,
I said on our show, I predicted by at least 3 scores, 3 touchdowns, and it was 4. I didn't see that matchup. We've seen Brock quite a bit out here in Bushland before they moved up, and I just didn't see that matchup going well for Brock at all.
I mean, I know Brock's a good football team, but Carthage is they're another level, right? I mean, there's levels to this. We talk about all the time, and Carthage is just on that level. I think Kilgore's there too, but I think Stephenville is going to be a tough opponent. I think it should be a good football game. I said last night, I think it really comes down to, can Stephenville cover the speed and the athleticism that Carthage has? They just have those guys out there. If they get the ball in open space, they can do something. So it'll be an interesting matchup. I think I'm hoping for a good contest. I was coming today I was confident. Hey, we're gonna have some good matchups today. Everybody was talking up how today was gonna be some, and then I see a Shiner team, which I saw them just go robot mode last week and just pick apart a Mount Enterprise offense that had scored 62 points a game and shut them down, and were gashing. They just got taken to the woodshed today, and then the same thing in game 2. I don't know. I'm hoping that this game kind of gets close here, because I'm so far as games go, there hasn't really been a close one yet.
No, I mean Hamilton and Joaquin, and no offense to them, but the way the way both of their styles were, it was kind of a grindy game at moments. The Shiner one, and we talked about this in the pregame, and nothing against Mount Enterprise, but with Mount Enterprise, you shut down Ash, you win the game. With Munster, even though everybody always says, well, it's Case and Carney and everybody else, you saw it today with Garrett Hess, who had been hurt. He finally got to play offense again, and you saw the difference in that. But I agree. I will admit, I have been very underwhelmed by the competitiveness of the state championship games in the 11-man so far.
Yeah, I mean, the 6-man was
not
really that great either.
6-man.
The second game it lasted almost the whole game, which is, I guess is a win. But it was like hey, we're up, 35, and it's just like one. They were just trading scores there, and the game was over. I don't know. It wasn't real. It was good. Good offensive performance.
When is the last time? And it might be 2 years ago, last year. I don't know. I don't follow 6-man, but it feels like 6-man is always like that. It doesn't feel like there's ever a close game at the state championship level for 6-man.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just when you have one or two dudes, like it just makes the team. Like, can you imagine if Kagan Ash played 6-man, Terry?
No,
I mean,
it'd be Ringdon. It would be what Ringdon did when he was a 6-man, because they're built the same.
You get one dude that can't be tackled, and you got a lot of little guys out there. There's not a whole lot of big linemen playing out there. I mean, every once in a while, but there's all little guys, and so you just get one dude that can just stiff arm and break tackles. I mean, it kind of makes it a mismatch. I think that's why you get a lot. I don't follow 6-man a lot either, and so I don't know, like that whole mercy rule. I was hearing them talk about some of the teams and how many quarters they had actually played all year. I thought that was interesting, that they don't even go probably a full game all year long. Like, that's kind of crazy. I think the announcers were like, man, this is the longest 6-man game ever. And I'm thinking, it's not really. It's just, I think they're used to playing a shorter game.
Yeah. So I lived in Groom, Texas for a while. So we were there 12 years. And so I know all about 6-man. I've called 6-man games. I'm close to some of those guys that run some of the 6-man football stuff, and so they'll call me in. I'll do a backup for them if we've got an off week or something. But that is exactly right. I always used to say, man, if we're playing in the third quarter, what is wrong with this game today? We're not playing good at all if you're playing into the third quarter. So sometimes I wish 11-man had a mercy rule too. So
well, they do,
especially for the first round of the playoffs. So
they do in taps. So like we cover Brook Hill private school here in East Texas, and there is a mercy rule, and they'll start running the clock. So if it gets over 35, I think at any point in the game, they start running the clock. Or maybe it's halftime, but they start running the clock, and so no stoppage. Like, they score through the point conversion, it's still running. Like, it's out of it. It runs the entire game. So we see that a little bit in the TAPS level, which I don't.
They'll run the clock out here in the 11-man games if we get up big, and the coaches agree.
Yeah.
In the fourth quarter, they'll say, let's just get the running clock going. So
I think there should be something for safety purposes. I mean, for me,
two things. First off, David Ruffin says that tell Brett he jinxed Dangerfield. Second off, Chris, is there any place in Texas you have not lived? I mean, you're from Marshall. I know you live in Bushland. You've lived in Salina. What are you just like a gypsy that just goes across the state of Texas?
I've been in the Panhandle since 2000 for the most part. We did a 2-year stint in Phoenix. I've lived in Phoenix twice, but for the most part, been up here the majority of the time. But no, so if you get south of the Dallas area, I don't do anything there. If you get too far south and west, I'm not doing the El Paso, Midland, Odessa. We're not going down that far. So I'll say I stick in the northern half of Texas for the most part. But no, it's Marshall, Salina, Dallas, and Amarillo and Groom. So that's the 5 places we lived. Oh, I guess we lived in Colleyville too for a while. That's still Dallas. So
Yeah, it's still Dallas. All my places outside of Dallas has always been in East Texas. I've lived in Marshall, Carthage, Rusk, Tyler, and then I hit the Dallas Fort Worth area. What about you, Brett?
I'm a Chapel Hill. I've lived in Chapel Hill my entire life, basically. I bought a house in Arp right down the road for about 5 years, and then I got married and we moved back. And I actually live, like, I can see my house I grew up in. It's like kind of like 2 houses down from where I am. So
That's actually cool.
I live in the same neighborhood I grew up in. So it's kind of, one of those things. I'm a homie, I guess. I'm staying in my home area. So, but that's funny that I've got people crossing over here your show calling me out for Dangerfield. I don't know how I jinxed them. I didn't rank them to start the season. They finally started winning. I put them in my poll. Maybe I picked them in a week, and maybe I jinxed them that way. I don't know. I did pick them against the Arp Tigers when they got beat. So maybe that's what you're talking about. I don't.
Well, we've always said this. You and I have talked about it. Grant and I. Dangerfield's the team you just don't trust. Whenever you think they're going to zig, they zag, and whenever you think they're going to zag, they zig. And if there's ever a coach that will stay there and can find consistency, Dangerfield could easily be the next Carthage.
Yeah, I mean, I when we did the poll preseason, obviously preseason polls are tough.
Yeah,
I got a lot of flack from some of my guys for not putting Dangerfield in. I said, guys, last year they went 0-4 to start. Like, I know they made a big run, but preseason I can't put them in. Let me see them how they start the season. They went 0-3. I'm like, okay. Well, then they started rolling off some wins, so I did put them into the poll. As they that's kind of how they do. They start with a tough schedule. They figure some things out, and they usually get rolling. But I got to see them against Tatum, and Tatum had a rough year, and they just didn't look good against Tatum. So it was hard to put them in the poll. And then they finally, once they got some competition that was on their level, they started kind of taking control there. But I don't know. I think they ran into a tough region. We talked about how tough that region is, and Newton kind of steamrolled through it, and they're struggling right now against Wall. This kickoff here, so it's going to be important for Newton to get off to a good start.
Yeah, I agree. As we are about to start the second half, as Wall kicks off to Newton, and it's going to go into the end zone. Yeah, I mean, it's not like this drive will decide the game, but it does feel like if Newton doesn't put some points on the board and they have to give the ball back to Wall in 3 or 4 plays, you might start seeing that blowout factor.
Yeah, I just think that this drive can give them a little momentum. Like, I feel like that's what they need right now, and maybe at least make Wall think about them. Like, just creep a little bit closer, and it makes them give them a little bit of pressure. It's they've got a lot on their shoulders. Never won a state championship, so it's interesting. We'll see what they do. They kind of start out in a little spread here. This is interesting.
Yeah, they showed that the last drive too. And Newton does throw the ball. That's just going to be a quarterback keeper. But Newton does throw the ball more than they have. And again, this is a freshman quarterback. Newton's always Newton, but Newton's going to be here for a while with this core group. I do have to ask you though, Brett, what's Chapel Hill going to be like next year?
That's a good question. I don't know that they'll lose the quarterback G, and then Blaylock, the receiver. They lose a lot on defense too, so it's going to be interesting to see what they've got coming up. I obviously not getting to see them a ton,
Yeah.
I don't see them as much as I used to, not covering them. So, it'll be interesting. I know they've got a pretty solid. I believe it's the sophomore group that's pretty good. I'll expect to see quite a few juniors kind of pop in at some key spots. So we'll see. I think it's just going to be interesting, the whole redistrict alignment thing, where they end up. I think that's intriguing to me coming up here in the next couple of months.
Third down for Newton.
Yellow hankies. That's usually not good. Pre-snap penalty.
False start. That'll be the 8th penalty for Newton. So for people who don't know, you know, we're talking football, but you have built NETSN to be the forefront for all broadcast in East Texas, whether it be football, basketball, baseball, softball, and tell us what's on the slate coming up in 2026 for NETSN.
Well, it's funny you say that. I was actually, before I came on, I was watching the game and kind of prepping for tomorrow. I've got 3 games basketball tomorrow. We're picking up the tournament over in Martins Mill, the Brian Mewburn tournament there in Martins Mill. Obviously, at Martins Mill, a powerhouse when it comes to hoops, and so we're going to be covering a couple games in the tournament, and then the Martins Mill girls tomorrow, and then 4 games on Saturday, both the silver and gold bracket, the consolations and championships of both of those. So a lot of basketball coming up. We've got a few more games on the schedule before the end of the year. We're also going to cover the center guys. The center's got a new Coliseum out there, new gym. And they're hosting a tournament also this weekend. So we're going to have about 11 games out of that tournament over the next couple of days too. So a lot of hoops during the day on NetSN over the next couple of days, and then we'll have a few, before the end of the year, and then we'll kind of pick up the district games. This year we've got White House, Brook Hill, Martins Mill, both girls and boys, and also the Tyler Heat, the homeschool program out of Tyler. So lots of hoops. And then that doesn't even count the center. Rough Riders will have them, and also the Piney Wood schools, obviously like the Joaquins and San Augustines and Shelbyvilles, and those schools down there will have some games from there. So lots of hoops. We're getting close. We're about 9,300 subscribers now. So channel's growing pretty well. We started the football season at around 6,000 something. So it went crazy. We had a lot of games this year and covered a lot of schools. I think we got covered close to 100 different schools this year.
Jeez, man. Yeah, again, how long have you? This is your 5th year?
Yeah, 5th, I think, total. I think this is like our 3rd complete football season with branching out to other schools. We were just doing Chapel Hill football, and then on Texan Live, and then we were doing the Chapel Hill sports. But this is, I think, the 3rd complete football season that we have done multiple schools. And so we've got 7 crews at one time this year for football season, looking to add at least 1 more, maybe 2 for next year. We'll see.
Wall, by the way, made a defensive stand, so they received the ball. Chris, y'all do more than just football for Bushland, right?
Yes, we do 6 sports. So we'll do volleyball. Obviously, volleyball's big in Bushland. If you follow volleyball at all, girls, they're a powerhouse. They're dropped it this year, but I tell you, I think they've won, was it 3 out of the last 5? Been there the last 6 years in a row.
And dropped it and dropped the sport?
No, as in they dropped that championship
I'm
game.
like, man,
Yeah.
They win.
No.
Same thing. I was like,
yeah, no. So, but volleyball is big. So that's big for us. And then we'll cover both our basketballs. We'll tend to hit and miss those a little bit. Definitely pick it up once district play kind of hits and playoffs, and then we'll get softball and baseball. So we're doing all of that. We'd like to start picking up a little bit more. So we have HPSN now, and that's where I'm doing our other shows from. Bushland Falcon Media is kind of the one that we do the Bushland games under. But we're definitely looking at, we had some inquiries this year. Amarillo ISD and Canyon ISD work with TPSN up here, which is Texas Plains Sports Network. And so there's a contract that they have, but they don't do out of town games for them much at all. They don't. They just do in town, in stadium.
Those are the
They
ones.
may do audio only, but that's it. They don't take video with them to out of town at
That's a
all.
shame. That's the ones people want. The ones on
So
the road.
So I know those guys pretty well. They've actually tried to get me to fold into them over the years, and I'm like, not going to happen. But I'm going to talk to them this off season about jumping in and maybe getting some crews to do those out of town games, because that's a shame. Yeah, that's where they need it more than anything. So.
Man, I got to say this, man. What a great year to start for y'all with y'all's new regional show out there. It's been really fun. We talked about this earlier. I don't know a ton about Amarillo sports. I know Bushland, but it's been so enjoyable watching y'all's regional show each and every week.
I've known Julian for over 20 years. He was the quarterback for our Amarillo Dusters, the arena football team, back in 2005. And then they started having little camps for kids. And so we started taking our kids there. And then he kind of got involved with the groom community through some mutual friends. And anyway, it's just a friendship we've always had. He's watched my kids grow up. He's coached them in camps. Now he's watching his kids grow up. So I called him up and said, hey, you want to do a show? And I didn't even tell him what the show was going to be. And he's like, I'm in. And so anyway, it's been really good to have him, because he really knows that core Amarillo better than I do. I'll know the outside of Amarillo better than he does, but he knows that core so well. So it's a great show. We naturally just hit it off on the show because we've known each other so long, and you can see it's easy. Those are one takes. We never film it twice. So
you actually film things twice? What? Who does that?
No, we don't.
We don't either. It's just straight. We record and it's straight through, and it's. If we
get what you get, right?
Yeah. It's we're not professional enough like Terry, where he can goes through and cuts 18 times and all that. Of course,
I ain't got that kind of time, man. I got a full-time job.
He might have to cut some of his, because he might have to change the rating on his show. Maybe
I was about to say, it's not because I'm a professional. It's because I've got Grant and Goodwin, Coach X on this show, and sometimes I have to watch the things they say. But yeah, no, both of y'all's networks have grown so well, and it's fun to watch, because when I first started this in the early 2000s, we had a ton of different regional stuff, and everybody was putting their shows up. We didn't even call them podcasts. We just you called webisodes. Internet radio was a big term. And then we kind of went into this weird spot where we didn't have any of that. And now, and this is not to knock these people, now you have these people that only do their stuff in shorts and reels, and half the time they don't even check what they're saying. Like, I'll watch a couple of these shows and they'll say things and I'm like, that's just not true. Like, that's not how that works. And it's nice to see some regional shows taking foot.
Agreed. And only the regional areas really know their teams, the players, the coaches. I couldn't go out. I'm an East Texas boy, but I can't go out and talk about East Texas football anymore. I'm not there, right? So that would be hard for me to do that. Hard to come out here and talk about Panhandle football. And most people go, we don't know anything about Panhandle football. So it's been really good to get the show out there for that reason.
Well, I agree with you. I think what's helped us is now I think even more than the first year, we got to cover more teams. I made a point to pick my schedule where I got to see a lot of different teams, and so that I'm not just saying so and so is a good. I actually saw them, and I saw them in action, and they kind of like Terry and them try to pick their games and go around and see different schools. I try to pick my broadcast where I'm able to see a lot of different schools, and so I think I did 25 different games this year. All the way up until the state semis. And so I got to see a lot of different teams. And so, I still can't always win the pick'ems. I mean, heck, I'm not doing very well so far. I think I'm only 1-1 out of the games so far. And I'm losing the one that's going on right now. So, I mean, you still don't know, but at least you have a better idea of the teams and who you're talking about. And, we've gotten to know some of the coaches and a lot of them are really thankful that we are able to come out and cover theirs, as we've kind of coined some games as games of the week, and we travel around the different programs and and highlight their school. So it's a neat deal, and it really helps. And then of course having Kyle on the show is he does that. Yeah, KO, he does a great job. Of course, he does it for the news station, and it's funny. So he'll go out in his red zone shirt for KLTV, and people are like, "Hey, you're that guy on Beast from the East." Like they'll recognize him off of our show, and not even off of the TV. So it's kind of cool.
You know, it's weird to say in 2025, but I legitimately feel that in the 2006, 2007 era, I could find more information because you still had beat writers, you still had newspapers with stringers and stuff. And and we were talking about this in the last game, Kenny Heath at the Central Texas show. I understand the UIL and the Max Preps deal, but the UIL really needs to lean on coaches to provide the information to Max Preps, because Max Preps is the official UIL stat page, but their stats are so unreliable.
Well, a lot of coaches don't do it. You go look, Bushland doesn't put stats out there. They don't put stats on there at all. So that's not reliable for us. We have to beg for stats.
Yeah, to me, that's a disservice to the kids. Like, why are you trying to hide if their kids averaging 200? You're going to find out. Like, you're going to watch film and find it. Like, I think that having the stats out there, you get colleges, you get all, and I think that's the same thing with our streams. We get sometimes like, oh, we don't want our stuff streamed. Well, we'll just go somewhere else.
Brett, talk about that. That's one of the things people don't understand, and the not broadcasting things more at a basketball level. But you've talked about it, where a basketball coach will literally tell you, "I don't want somebody scouting us with your broadcast."
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. Like, if you're a good enough program, someone can come watch you, and you still can defeat them. Right? I mean, going to watch film, yes, it may help, but they're gonna get the film somewhere, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna get it. It's gonna be out there. Like, I just think what we're trying to do is the coaches thinks that we're trying to give away their game plan. No, we're trying to promote the kids and provide a way for people to watch it. Because my opinion, and this is as a sports guy, I'm gonna go to the game if I can. Like,
yeah,
if I can't go, or I'm in another state, another country, or whatever, then yes, I love the option to watch, and that's what we're there for. We're not there to take away ticket sales, to make people are going to stay home, or get their team, another team scouting them, and then figure out their game plans. We're there to provide a free service to help out those that can't make it. It's that grandmother that can't get out in the heat or the cold during football season.
My parents.
Yeah.
My parents have reached the age where they don't go to Marshall games, but they can watch them at home. And
people who move away, the aunts, the uncles, the nieces, nephews, whatever, and they don't live there. That's what we always say before we do. After a coach's show before the game, we'll say, "Hey, get to the game, fill the stands if you can. If you can't, we'll be there for you, right? But get to the game if you can. But if not, that's the service we're filling."
Or like us, where we're sitting there on the sideline, watching Bushland play Canadian, but I also have on my phone watching two other games all the way down in Southeast Texas. I mean, it's time for everybody to embrace the technology. It would be like the Lakers telling the NBA, "Hey, no, we don't want our games on national TV because we don't want the Celtics to scout us." That is just such a archaic, antiquated view. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
We have an injury here, by the way. Wall up 25-8.
No, nothing's changed in the game right now. It's been kind of going back and forth.
Well, I was gonna say Newton's defense stepped up there. Wall was driving a little bit, and they kind of pulled back and got a good stop and forced a punt.
And I'm going to say it again. I'm not saying this when we talk about teenagers, but if you'd have told me that, and again, he has 2 touchdowns, but if you told me that Landon York was 6 of 16 for 107 yards in midway through the third quarter, I'd be like, "Oh, Wall's in trouble." And I think that's a testament to how good this Wall team overall is. And I think everybody needs to acknowledge Wall ran the ball under Guy Houston for 1,000 years and are one of the few teams that immediately transitioned into the spread passing offense, and they took to it immediately.
Yeah, what do y'all think about those big helmets too? The Guardian helmets. Those things are interesting.
Whatever keeps football playing. I mean, I'm a helmet guy. If you know, on our NFL show, I have every NFL helmet. I have probably 20 more helmets in the closet. I love helmets. I love the way they look. But at the end of the day, if it keeps players safe, if that's what it takes, that's what it takes.
I guess it's just kind of strange. It looks like they've got a fat head or something. One of those.
That's what it looks like to me. It's one of the old fat head or the bobbleheads.
Yeah.
Y'all remember when the old fathead posters was such a big thing about 20 years ago? I will say it's a little different at high school because they don't have the actual helmet. It's just the cover. At least in the pros in college, you still have the logo on the fathead helmet. That's all I'm going to have to call it now is the fathead.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things that I think the next big advancement in helmet protection, either they go like Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman always says they shouldn't have helmets because helmets get used as weapons. I kind of agree with him. But I think the other one is figuring out a way for the back of the head concussion, because that is where 90% of the concussions seem to happen now.
Like on a whiplash when they hit the turf almost.
Yep. As we say that, did you see the wall helmet face mask kind of broke right there on a hard hit? I will say that even though the games have been blowouts, the physicality over the last three games, man, it's been impressive.
Yeah, Newton's starting to get a little steam on this drive here, getting close to midfield. Unfortunately for them, the clock is becoming not a factor yet, but they need to get points on the board here in this quarter, I think.
Yeah, Newton's not a team that needs to be playing from behind.
No, exactly. Now, saying that, they do have the explosiveness to take that run game with big plays, but Wall, and we talked about it, Wall's not a typical Region 1 team. They are very athletic and fast you normally think of Region 1 being physical and big, and then Region 3 and 4 being about speed.
Yeah, they're
just like that.
They're playing real
They're
safe.
very Canadian-like in some ways, right?
That's a great comparison right there. And again, and Guy Houston did a great job. But, I know there were fans at Wall over the last few years that were, until the coaching change, were frustrated because I've literally heard what you said. Like, we're just like Canadian. Why are we still running this, run the ball only offense?
Ooh.
3rd down and 3 here, and it's going to be
short. Got a little hanky on the field, though.
Man, Newton, the flags are killing them. This will be their 10th penalty.
Yeah.
Against them. So going back to the 4A games tomorrow, I am still concerned, Brett, for Kilgore that it plays out exactly like it did last year, because Stephenville this year is built like Salina is last year. And Kilgore, it's weird to say this, Salina wore Kilgore down, and I kind of feel like Stephenville might have that ability to do the same thing.
Ooh, flag on Wall there.
Wow.
They get below the knees.
Yep, that's something that they said this year that they were looking at more, and we've seen it multiple times. Defenders cutting. In fact, Kenny Heath and I were talking about that used to be taught.
Right there.
Yep. You should teach your defensive linemen to go low, cut the knees out of the blocker to allow the linebackers to flow to the ball.
Hey, good news is he had one of those padded helmets on, so it didn't hurt the offensive guys much.
Oh, man. So big 1st down and 10 for Newton now with 4 minutes left. A fast-moving 3rd quarter. Foster looking to throw. We're going to dump it off. Nice move right there. Again, Isaiah Foster. There's always a Foster in Newton, and he's a freshman. And I think you're going to see as next year, because he didn't start the year as the starting quarterback. I think you're going to see next year Newton might spread the ball out a little bit more and start throwing a little bit more.
It's hard to when you've got that kind of stable of backs, though, to get too far away from that run. I mean, they've got 4 or 5 guys they've cycled in. Just looking at the stats and stuff, obviously they had some lopsided playoff wins, so they were probably going a little deeper. But they were still, chugging along with the yards. I mean, there were several games where they had 3 or 4 backs, get significant carries.
I mean, even in this game, only 8 points. They still have 225 yards rushing. And saying that, we've all said Wall's been playing pretty good defensively against them.
Oh, good play call.
Great play call.
Yeah, Wall's they swarm to the ball really well. There's rarely is one guy making the tackle for the most part.
I want to go back to the 2A game. I know Munster, shut them out, but that's one thing Shiner did so well defensively. They always had 4 or 5 guys around the ball. Case and Carney, I know last year it's going to be more epic because he scored with 40 seconds left. But in some ways, I think Case and Carney's best game between the two was today because, man, he was getting hit multiple times and still getting up, still getting 5 and 6 yards.
Yeah, that's Shiner. I mean, I just saw the Shiner defense last week. So I saw what they did to Ash, and so it's impressive that Carney had that kind of game. Of course, again, you mentioned it. He's got a few more guys. He's quarterback, so he's got some guys he can toss the ball to.
All right. So Newton here, goal line and a touchdown, game back in play.
Yeah.
25-14, pending the extra point. And this is what we talk about. Did Wall start chasing that 2-point conversions after Newton got their first one? Wall missed the first 2. You got to start kicking the extra points if you're going to score after this, in my opinion.
After Newton, and I'm a little behind you guys. Are they going to go for 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they go for 2. They're kind of one of those, they go for 2 a lot.
Yep.
When you've got that kind of backs in the backfield, you think your guy can get 3. When you take the percentages, right? I mean, if they can get 1 out of every 2, it's the same. So you just take the percentage, and now it's 9. Now it's still a 2-possession game, but it could be 12.
Yep.
Right. So, I mean, that's as the game progresses, we'll see if that matters.
All right, 25-16. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Josh Bell with the Miami Marlins. I wear Neuroguard to help with strength and coordination when I'm in the weight room and help with balance when I'm on the baseball field.
One of the most comfortable, reduces concussion, increases performance. You can't get a mouthpiece like that on the market.
Not only is it a great product, it's super easy to use. I recommend it for any player, any age, at any level. Thank you guys so much, and go check out Neuroguard Plus.
Neuroguard mouthpiece makes it easier to breathe while playing basketball. The unique design is not as bulky as any other mouthpiece and makes you feel safe from concussions.
Neuroguard. They control my breathing while I'm riding. It stops me getting concussions while I wreck. It's very easy to use, so go pick one up today.
I'm still doing stunts. And with concussions I've got, I feel much safer with that. I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing a whole lot better in the gym. So Neuroguard Plus, once this one wears out, you've got a customer for life, because I'm telling you people, Neuroguard Plus is the way to go, and me, Mark Ash, says so.
Parents, kids, coaches, Neuroguard. It's the future. Stay tuned.
Ask you, what do you think about Texas High and Pleasant Grove this year? You there?
Oh, there I am.
Oh, there you are.
I had my mic muted for a second. What you said? Texas High and Pleasant Grove?
Yeah, Devin Ruffin said, ask Brett about Texas High and Pleasant Grove.
They had good seasons. I think Pleasant Grove, man, they just got that. They're hoping for realignment that Carthage slides down to Region 3, I think. Maybe we get to see that Pleasant Grove Carthage game in the final week of the season. I know that's probably frustrating for them. I like those teams up north. We talk about them a little bit. They got Texarkana game day up there at Morgan and those guys. They do a great job of covering that corner of Northeast Texas, but we kind of cross over and cover them some, and I include them in I think they're part of part of East Texas. So
Oh, yeah.
I think Texas Highs, they're just, I think it's tough, that region. That's the problem where they are. I mean, they match up with a tough matchup there. They can usually win if they're at the top. They get that first game, but then they get to round 2, and it's just tough sledding in the region there. And I think that's the main problem with Texas High. But I think they had great seasons.
No, I mean, it's the same thing with Marshall. You know, Marshall's just like Pleasant Grove to Carthage. Marshall's really hoping to swing down back into Region 3 because Region 2 is so competitive. And Region 2 is not going to get any less competitive over the next 5 years because Region 2 is basically DFW and the East Texas District.
Yeah, it's just a tough spot for them to be in. I think that's the main problem. I think there's like a ceiling they have. I mean, unless they just have a special group come through, I think it's going to be tough for them to advance through. Now, Pleasant Grove, I think, again, if they can get the Carthages of the world and those, like Gilmer right now is kind of on the downslide at the moment. They had a tough season. I think that playoff game, they gave Athens everything they wanted. But I'm sure if you ask Coach Metzel, it's not where they want to be, right? I mean, their record didn't line up to where their expectations are, and I think they'll be back. But I think Pleasant Grove right now is the class of that upper region. If Carthage was to slide out, then they turn back into the favorite there in Region 2.
Big hold right there on Walls. Now they're committing penalties, so it's 2nd and 20, trying to throw down the field, and now it's 3rd and 20, and all of a sudden, man, the pendulum has swung to Newton as far as momentum. I will go back on Carthage and say this. Next year, Carthage will not be the normal Carthage. Now, that doesn't mean they can't still go to state, but this will be the youngest, most inexperienced Carthage team we're going to see in the last 4 to 5 years.
Yeah, they'll be like the team 2 years ago when Surratt was a sophomore. And they were kind of, I guess they could be taken, I think.
Oh, sorry. Big sack for Newton.
Yeah, they're putting it on that. They're cranking up the defense right now.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's because a couple years ago, that first year Surratt was the starter as a sophomore. They were young. They had a lot of these same guys, and they were beatable. And I think they ended up losing. And, I talked about it several times that year. I think that was the first year we did our show, Beast from the East, and I said, guys, you better get Carthage this year.
Yeah.
Because the next couple of years, they're going to get you. And so I think they'll take a step back. But obviously, like I mentioned, I don't know the kid's name, but the quarterback's coach for Carthage is the backup quarterback. He'll be moving into the starting job. And then if he's a quarterback's coach's son, he's probably pretty good. Let's just say, I mean, and so then, of course, you have Edwards' brother will be sliding into the tailback. So there'll be some positions that they'll have new pieces in, but it's just reloading there. I mean, yeah, they won't be as good, but, they're still going to be good.
I'm curious because if they swing down into Region 3, you might get the Brock Carthage game as a state championship game next year because Brock returns all their key guys from this year's team. This was a young Brock team.
You could see Brock PG in the scene.
Brock PG, and of course, Brock and PG played for 2 years in non-district, and in both of those, and this was back when Brock was 3A. In both of those games, Brock outplayed PG, and in one of the games had just one of those terrible fumbles at the worst time, and then the other one, PG kind of wore them down. But yeah, it's crazy how quick Brock has assimilated itself into 4A Division II.
And I'm glad they have assimilated themselves well in 4A Division II.
Oh yeah, Bushland knows the struggles of playing Brock back.
Well, when my boys were juniors, we took them into overtime in the playoffs, and we just ran out of gas.
It's punt time from your own end zone. This is it's a tricky spot right here. If you're Wall, you got to make sure you don't.
This is a big 2 points if Newton could do something.
Yeah,
get a safety.
Yeah, you didn't take one bad snap because you're probably not going to have your full snap zone. I mean, there's going to be pretty close to that back. So If I'm Newton though, I don't know if I rush. I may get my set up the return. You got some speed back there.
Oh, what a punt!
Oh, geez.
Wow.
That's a huge mistake for Newton coming up too soon on the punt. He's got to go back farther and run up to it.
Yeah, you let that punt fall in front of you, and then you can either grab it or let it go, but you don't do that. Like you said it best. It's like Nelson Cruz in 2011. Don't go up. Go back.
That's an outfield rule, right? It's harder to run backwards than to run forwards.
Always keep the
That was
ball.
almost a 70-yard punt.
Jeez, man.
Can they give the punter some kind of MVP? I mean, that's a huge play in this game right now.
Yeah, because I'm sure Newton's expecting the ball 40 to 50-yard line, right?
Yep.
That's a 20, 30-yard swing.
Jeez.
What a run. This guy's still up.
Is that Porter?
God, yes. He almost got the first down of that.
Oh, wow. So they just showed the crowd, and there's a random dude in the Newton stands wearing all Indiana gear. Good job, sir. I love that. I am so rooting for Indiana in the playoffs and A&M and Texas Tech.
Man, it took like the fourth or fifth guy to get that guy down.
I don't know if you know from the show. So Julian, my partner, his nephew is Omar Cooper Jr., who caught that touchdown pass, tiptoed that touchdown pass against Michigan to win that game.
Dude, best catch of the year. Best catch of the year.
Or not Michigan, Penn State. Sorry.
And everybody, when you saw it, goes, oh, he's out of bounds. And then you see the replay and you're like, oh, my God.
So that's his sister's boy. So
Newton now with the ball, minute 25, a fast-moving third quarter.
But now they're back on, like, the time's not as big a factor now. They just gotta.
Now they can play their game.
Yep. And that's why it was so big. They got that score this quarter. Now they've got, they are down 2 scores, but there's lots of time, and their defense has picked it up here in this second half.
On the game so far, 51 carries for Newton, 52 carries, 317 yards. Of course, Porter with 217 of that. Yet it's been kind of a plotting off.
Oh, man.
Wow.
That was an awkward looking play that I don't know what happened. I want to see the replay. Was it his own man that got in the way?
That's what it looked like. Man. And Newton's lucky. The first guy that went for the ball for Wall, that would have been a scoop and score.
Yep, his own lineman stripped it from him.
He ran into him. Yep.
That's a killer.
Dude.
Oh, man.
Did y'all see that Louisiana State Championship game where the kid thought the play was over and threw his helmet up to celebrate, only to then, man, you got to feel bad for that kid, dude.
Yeah.
It wasn't taunting. I get the letter of the law rule, but man, that wasn't taunting. He was just celebrating because he thought the play was over, and that ends up causing him to lose. Man, that's such a gut punch. I feel bad for that dude.
Yeah, he's got to live with that the rest of his life. That's a tough one.
Well, I mean, he's from Louisiana. He's got to live with that too.
Well, yeah, that's true.
I mean, I've got Louisiana in my family, but I'm just making the point.
Did y'all see the Florida one?
So I've seen the video. I haven't fully watched it. What happened with that one?
Yeah, so what happened is they like lateraled it around and then ended up scoring at the last of the game. I can't remember exactly how it went, but I just saw a clip on Twitter, and I was like, wow, that's insane.
Heath Carroll says, come on, Eagles. JBS Golfer 1 says, what's up, boys? Well, what's up with you? We're just watching some football, chilling, having a good time on a Friday. So what do y'all do for Christmas? Chris, do you come to Marshall for Christmas?
We're probably going to run out and see Mom. We'll be here. 3 out of my 4 kiddos will be here.
Okay.
So we'll have Christmas here, and then we'll probably run out to Mom's between Christmas and New Year's.
What about you, Brett?
Let's see. We'll head to Jacksonville probably early next week and stay for a few days and then come back.
Is that where most of your family's from, or your wife's?
My wife's from Jacksonville.
Oh, okay.
So we'll go down to the Owen Tindians Watch to
It feels
Jacksonville.
like they've been the Owens Indians for a while now.
I
Man,
know.
you want to talk about Danny Long, Marshall guy, went out there and basically one of the things I really respected about that book about Jeff Traylor and Gilmore was how the first part of that was everything that what Gilmore has done basically was born in Marshall because Danny Long was the offensive line coach for Marshall, and then he became the head coach at Jacksonville, and you had Jeff Traylor and Matt Turner, who was an 8th grade coach in Marshall, and they kind of created that passing attack that Jacksonville got known for in the mid 90s with the McCown brothers and stuff. But man, Jacksonville, I don't know if it's the demographics or whatever, but it feels like it's been forever since they've been even halfway competitive.
Yeah, they're just bouncing back and forth between two terrible places to be district-wise. We'll see where they end up this time, but, I mean, you went from the toughest 4A district around to 5A Division II, where you just can't compete with the Texas High, the Marshalls, and those guys. So I that was what about Mount Pleasant though? One of the best losing record teams in the state.
Yeah. Coach Cluley's defensively wonderful. They've got to figure out some offensive consistency. But again, where he has built them from where they were, I mean, they were even worse than Jacksonville, man. The only thing you thought about Mount Pleasant was they had a great soccer team and they had a great stadium, but their football team has been terrible for a while.
And yeah, they challenged themselves really, and I think that record fooled a lot of people. We talked about all year that the schedule they had played was going to really prepare them for that 5A district. And once they got to those teams, and they competed against Texas High and Marshall. I mean, they were in
both of them, honestly.
They were right in those games. So big win.
David Ruffin says, are you is Gilmore bouncing back? Oh yeah, Gilmore's young. Gilmore's very young. Gilmore, in fact, next year I think takes a huge step. By the way, Robert says too much yapping, not enough game coverage. We're not covering the game. We're here talking while we watch the game. We appreciate you tuning in, but if we're not your thing, have a great day, brother. But yeah, I think Gilmore's going to be perfectly fine next year, and I think they're back in play as a state title contender.
What's the status on Wascom? They seem to be down the last few years. What's going on over there?
Now this year they were solid. Wade Lawson, the head coach, he came back. They rebuilt them last year. They got beat by Honeygrove. We were there in Mount Pleasant. This year they got beat by St. Augustine in the second round of the playoffs, 36-24, which was a little bit of an upset, though St. Augustine got better as the season went. But no, Wascom is, again, we got to see where the numbers are and what district they're going to be in. But Wascom, Elysian Fields, both are back. By the way, Elysian Fields was a program a couple years ago after Scott Ford retired, just completely bottomed out, and they've quietly built themselves back into being an East Texas contender.
Yeah, Coach Maines did a great job with that group this year. I got to talk to him. We went out to Elysian Fields and covered them in Union Grove one evening, and basically he came in and got some guys to get back in the program that were out of the program. I think he was a kids coach. So he could really, he got, you lose at that level, you lose 2 or 3 dudes, and that's a big difference.
Yeah.
So he got some guys to come back in and join the program that were out of it. And so that was the new Kennedy led team that he was just an impressive player to watch. If you've never seen his highlights, he's got some out there, but that great season for Coach Maines, and that huge win over Garrison. We were talking about that last night. That was one of the better games of the year. I got to cover a playoff game in overtime. I mean, just called a masterclass play on that opening play of overtime. I mean, that was that little reverse play, double reverse, and gave it back to him. And he ran about 50 yards for 25 yards. I mean, he took it all the way across the field and went backwards, and it was a special play.
2A Division I East Texas, man, right now, they just eat each other. I mean, it's such a slog just to get through the region now because of how deep it is.
That's a big play right there, though, Terry, in this game.
Yep. We got to cover more of the game is what we've been told.
Yeah, I know. That was great positioning by the receiver. Got his feet right in bounds and just enough yards for the first down. Because if they hadn't got that, it might have been a little decision time. because it was 3rd and 10, I believe.
Yeah, I think Newton's. If Wall goes in and scores here, Newton's in trouble.
Yeah, they need to hold them to a field goal.
Gonna get him a turnover.
Oh, okay. I thought that ball was about to be tipped up into the air. The way it looked, he deflected it enough to go out, but I thought it was gonna go straight up in the air. We saw one this year. It went off the receiver's helmet straight up in the air, and the defender caught it and ran all the way back. It was a interesting play. Did you see the kickoff play, Terry, that we went viral for? So the Mount Enterprise Chilton game, Rubio kicked it off. The Chilton guy runs it for like 30 something yards, and then the kicker basically took the ball from him and just stripped it.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I think I even met you. I didn't even realize that was y'all when I saw the clip until later.
Yeah. Craziest thing I've ever seen on the opening kickoff. He almost ran it back, got almost to the goal line, got it stripped, and then the kicker ran it all the way in for the touchdown to start the game.
Kickers are just built different in Texas.
I mean, I just had never seen an opening kickoff play like that before in my life. That was nuts.
So 11:31 left. Wall takes the timeout, 2nd and goal from the 9-yard line. And I think, as we were talking about, Chris, you made a point. If Wall scores a touchdown here, Newton's in trouble. And I think you see that with Wall calling the timeout because they understand where they're at with this drive. You punch this in now, and you're really putting Newton up against the wall. Hawks.
You're gonna force Newton out of their offense. Is what you're gonna do.
Exactly. Now, in saying that, Newton this year can't throw the ball more, but once you know they're going to throw the ball, it kind of changes it.
Yeah, it does. They've got speed, though. That's the thing. Newton's got speed.
It just takes one play. I mean, you get one guy loose, but yeah, I feel like this would be a big momentum shift to Wall here if they're able to put this.
Oh,
that's a bad. Bad play call. Ooh, 3rd and goal from way back now.
Now, in saying that, again, I don't know if a field goal here is still big for Wall.
It is, but they could already have the 3 points. Yep. Remember that. So if they had the 3 points here, then it would be even bigger.
Great point. Again, that chasing that, and I know it's you want to be aggressive again, especially with Newton immediately hitting the 2-point conversion and now 2 of them. But when you start chasing on that, you just start losing ground.
Well, you're right now at the 17. It's a 34-yarder. That's no gimme. Oh, make that a 20. Maybe it's a 21-yard line now. So that's going to be a 38-yard field goal. I mean, we'll really see what kind of kicker they got if they can make this one.
Okay, Newton's just gotten really aggressive up front.
I mean, a special teams play right here, they could block something and pick it up. I mean, I've seen crazier things.
Wall's already blocked a punt and scored a touchdown. So it's a 38-yard field goal from the left side. The kick is up, and it's not good.
No.
He had the distance. Wow. He hooked it left, or it really never went right. And what a defensive stand by Newton. Wow.
Yeah, that's the kind of stands you need to win championships, and they've given themselves a chance now.
They're still 2 possessions down. They need to – I mean, with 10 minutes, the time is not a issue yet.
Yeah, their defense has played well enough in spurts tonight, though. I feel I said this was a comparable game to the Joaquin game yesterday. I feel a lot more like Newton's defense has played a lot better than Joaquin's did the other night. I feel
Landon York coming in on the year, completing almost 70%, 8 of 23, 136 yards. He's taken some sacks. The one thing he's done well, though, is he hasn't turned the ball over. But I still say, if you'd have told me he's 8 for 23 for 136, I would have thought Newton was winning by 2 or 3 touchdowns. So this has been such an interesting game because both teams at time offensively have done what they wanted, but also both defenses have played so well at key moments.
Okay, so look at the stats over here, Terry. You've got 100 more yards of offense for Newton.
Yep.
But the penalties, you've got 9 penalties for Newton. They also had that turnover a while ago. That's what gave Wall this opportunity. So
And the block punt. I mean, right now the block punt's the difference in the game because that was a scoop and score on that. If that doesn't happen, it's a one possession game.
But that's what tells me that, like, I feel like the game is still being controlled by Newton as far as offensively and kind of the flow right now. So that's why I feel like they have a chance here still. I just didn't see that last night. I think this is a little bit, the score's not much different, but I feel like Newton has a chance in this game because of the way they're playing. Their defense is playing well. You take out those mistakes. Now you can't give up any more, block punts or you can't fumble. They're going to have to play a clean game the rest of the way, I feel like. But they can break a couple of big runs where they don't have to take as much time off the clock too. That would really help their chances here.
Dude, give Hamilton credit. Joaquin took that first possession, basically played keep away for most of the first quarter, and it looked like, okay, Hamilton's not going to be able to make the stops, but they made the key adjustments. And after that first drive, Joaquin's offense looked pretty pedestrian.
Yeah, I mean, they made some good adjustments. That's the impressive part. I will give a shout to the coaches for getting those guys prepared, because if you're not used to seeing that slot T, it's different. So they adjusted, and I just think that they were able to kind of keep Joaquin at bay. They didn't give them any big plays whenever they did it here.
A short week, like a very short week. I mean, they had the Wednesday slot, so the UIL does allow them to practice on Sundays now if you're playing on that Wednesday game. But having to get those guys, and I can't remember if Crawford still runs the slot T, but that would have been the only team that Hamilton would have seen it from. So just all around, and I know Hamilton kind of went through a weaker region, but give them credit, man. Huge. And I love seeing first-time teams win state champs, especially first time even making it to the state championship.
Yeah, that was a cool one there. Yoakum earlier today got their first one.
Yep.
It was 100 and something years of a program, 111, I think.
I saw that, like 110, 111.
Only made it a couple times. They lost to Mineola the last time they were there, that great Mineola run that they had. Wall trying to win their first state championship.
It seems like it's a year of first. These first few games here, unless Newton, they still have something to say about it, but we'll see.
Oh, false start. Oh, man. Huge mistake for Newton. And it would have been 3rd and 2 going for it. Now it's going to be 3rd and 7. Now, one of the things isn't a first is Duncanville versus North Shore.
That's true. I was going to say the later games in the week are not first. You've got the Carthages, the Kilgores, the Stephenvilles, the West Orange Starks, Duncanville. You've got a lot of repeat customers, let's say, in the bigger classifications this year.
It's crazy. Here we go on 3rd and 7. We're going to cover the game. I forgot about that. Direct snap. And he's going to turn a corner and get a first down. Huge first down for Newton to keep the chains going. It's crazy to think when you look at, and Kevin had it on by the numbers, how great West Orange Stark and Carthage has been, and yet this is only going to be the second time they've met in the history of the program. The first time was all the way back in 2013 when Carthage beat West Orange Stark.
That's crazy because, I mean, I guess just they were good at different times, maybe, I guess, in different areas. Because West Orange Stark hasn't been there recently, and Carthage has been more of a recent, I guess, maybe that's why.
I think the last time West Orange was when they had the legendary, what's his name? The quarterback. I can't think of his name now. Great defense. They had lost to Gilmore the year before, and then won back-to-back state championships with his name. Jack Dallas. So Newton gets across the midfield now, second down in going to be about give him a 2-yard game. 9-11, time's still not a factor, but you got to be careful because, again, we talked about it. These state championship games, they just move faster. You've got so much things going on, and you go, okay, we've got 9 minutes, we're good, and the next thing you know, it's 5 minutes left.
At least they're a little bit more, a little bit faster the ball than Joaquin. They had to go to the coach and get the play call every time.
Yeah. I felt like, and look, what works is works. I'm not knocking it, but it felt like in that 3rd and 4th quarter that kind of hurt them at times because every play they were running 10 seconds off, 15 seconds off before they snapped the ball.
you got to wonder when they're going to just go with the communication in the helmet of the quarterback. I mean, then it gets rid of all these sign stealing stuff. They've got the technology to do it.
Now they have the Apple Watches. They can call the play on the watch.
Yeah, something to where they can do that. We don't need all those signals. Oh, great play call.
Wow. They haven't done that much, and Newton's fun because they're going to run the ball, but they're going to run it in so many different formations and various ways. It's explosive on the ground, but it's not the same play over and over.
That looked like one of those backyard pickup plays, Terry, where it was like, hey, this is not open this direction. I'm just going to take off the other way. But he had lead blockers, so it was drawn up that way. You could tell, but that's weird.
That was basically a bastardized version of the what you call the crappy guard read in this, in a slot T, where the guards will go right, and then right when you're expecting them to go right, the running back cuts left on it.
Well, Ash did that a lot in the playoffs. It would get to where everyone would know where the blockers were going, and he'd just go the other direction, and make something out of it.
I have a feeling he is going to be what's the linebacker at Texas Tech, Jacob Rodriguez.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have a feeling because Ash is committed to Tech and he's going to be a linebacker. I kind of have a feeling you're going to see him doing that kind of same thing at Texas Tech, where he becomes that stud linebacker that's going to make national news.
I mean, he's good. I mean, if you ever seen him play, I mean, you can hear about him all day long, but it's weird because he didn't play a lot of I mean, he played defense, but that's when he rested, right? And, as a team, they didn't play a ton of defense.
My favorite thing about him is they would rest him on offense by splitting him wide and then throw him a pass and he'd get 100 yards.
Yeah, just throw it to him deep. I think that was kind of their way, like, hey, let's just stick him out here and see if anybody notices him. And somehow he seemed to be open and he would catch it and go score a lot.
And I think Texas Tech will use him on some offense like they have started. Oh, 4th and 1 and Wall with a big stop.
Didn't get it. That's huge. Now they're calling for it to move. He didn't get to that. He didn't get to that line of gain.
Remember, we do have reviews at the state championship games.
I can tell you, I'm going to the Swinney review, and that is not going to be there. I'm pretty sure he didn't get to the line.
He did not get it.
It was like a new segment on this show, the Swinney review.
I don't know, but I just
Family Guy, what grinds my gears?
I don't think he got there.
No, he didn't, dude.
He didn't get quite to the. He got if they round it up maybe, but if they're going, he needed to get to that second hash there. What yard line is that? 23 is where he needed to get. If he can get it. Wow.
I don't think there's a need to review it either.
No.
He's a half yard short.
Yeah, he was way short. There's no need to review that. They have to call that down, I think, don't they? So I don't think they'll look at that.
Yeah, they call it down.
What a stop for Wall there.
It's funny. I was I can't remember if it was Carney or one of the coaches I was talking about. We were talking about you get the state championship game, should coaches have the ability to throw the red flag? And he said, no, because man, the very first time I would feel that we didn't get the right call, I'd be throwing the red flag on a 1 yard gain or not.
Well, they're not used to using it like that. So then you don't know how to use it.
You don't know how to use it. Sometimes you have to, you might feel the call didn't go your way, but it's not worth it. You'd have all challenges in the first quarter in 5 minutes. So Wall takes over 6-14. Man, you don't need to score, but you need to run some clock. Oh, Landon York.
Or that.
Yep.
That'll work.
In 2017, we played Wall to get to the third round of the playoffs, third or fourth round. And that was my boy's senior year. And double overtime. And we went for 2 instead of going for the 1 because coach said we didn't have enough gas to get us into a third overtime. And we did. The tight end receiver comes in tight, falls down, acts like he falls down, gets up, runs to the corner of the end zone. Quarterback rolls to the opposite side and then just throws a rainbow pass. He catches it on the very back corner before going out of bounds.
Wow.
Yeah, it was one of the greatest calls I've ever got to do. It was amazing.
You know, it's funny. We got to go back to Marshall, but I will always remember when they beat Plano in 1990. Mitch Mayer running the option, and they had just killed. That was Marshall's weakness back then, was whenever they played option teams, and they killed them. But on that last drive, when Plano was trying to score to take the lead, they didn't run the option. I remember their coach saying our quarterback just couldn't take the hits anymore. Like they were wore down. And that's the thing people don't understand. Fatigue, you go back to Robinson losing a state championship game against Liberty Ilo because they went for 2 instead of going to overtime because Coach Tommy Allison said we had no gas. Like we would have got to overtime, we couldn't have done it.
Yeah.
More penalties, guys.
More penalties. Newton got called for 2 and offsides and a pass interference. Wall, of course, takes the interference, and you're starting to now, if you're Newton, getting into that. You've got to not only make a stop, you might need a turnover right here. 11 penalties on the day for Newton.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that's the killer for Newton today, I think. And these are drive killer penalties for them.
Wow, what a clutch throw right there. Again, Landon York has struggled mainly because of what Newton's done defensively. But, man, he started off this drive with a great quarterback draw, then now hit a big pass for a first down, and now Wall's sitting in Newton's side looking for points.
Yeah, and you look at this game, and I feel like Newton has probably played the overall better game overall, but the key plays have went Wall's way.
That's a good way to describe it. Again, special teams has been Wall's big thing. Again, that punt block for the touchdown is the decider right now. But yeah, Newton, outgained him. Go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
Well, I was gonna say no. I think Wall's played a good bend but don't break defense.
Yes.
Does that make sense, right? They've got a lot of yards on them, but they just have stood up when they needed to stand up.
And again, part of that is Newton shooting themselves in the foot with a couple of holds, a couple of false starts. But yeah, and it's funny because Wall, you used to think about them with Guy Houston, it was that defense and then that run game. And they've evolved now into this explosive offense, but that defense is still damn good. And I think that gets lost in the shuffle sometimes.
Yep.
It's been the best game of the weekend or the week so far, though, by far.
Yeah, I agree. I really hope Kilgore-Stephenville turns out to be the game we think it could be. Good play by Newton right there. Again, and Newton's played a very bend but don't break off defense where Wall's been in Newton's side of the field multiple times now and not come up with points. Missed a field goal, had a turnover.
They get more aggressive as they get closer to the end zone, to that front 4.
Yeah, that last drive especially, man, they let loose on them and forced that field goal, which they missed. 3:43 left here, big 3rd down and 5 because this feels like 4-down territory.
Yeah, they need to stop here. I don't think they're going to kick another field goal. I mean, unless they just took a big sack and have to punt. Oh, okay. Well, then that's a way to get back in the game. Wow.
By Newton.
Oh, man, they got aggressive there a little bit. Wall did, trying to get a little greedy. Man.
Wow.
That's a huge play. I don't know, man. I just want to kept it on the ground. You needed 5 yards.
I would have kept it on the ground for sure.
5 plays or 5 yards in 2 plays. I think I'd take my chances with that. And then if I give the ball back to them, it's inside on the other end zone area there. Not.
Yeah, you're playing field position now, right? It's what they should have been.
Because Newton's, again, we've talked about it. They haven't made any big yardage plays really tonight. That might have been one of their biggest yardage plays was that interception return.
Wow, dude. Whoa.
Oh, that's weird looking.
And just like that.
You should have dropped it. They should have knocked it down to the ground.
Yeah. They get the interception. They try to throw a little, I don't know, which outlet pass to the running back. It got floated. They lose 5 yards. And again, as bad as that play was for Wall, they still have time on their side now because Newton has to score twice, and we're at 2:58 left in the game now.
Yeah, they gotta do some scoring here quickly.
That's one of those situational awareness plays, right? Knock
Yeah.
it down, right?
Mhm.
This isn't going to work.
And that's not done enough by wide receivers and running backs. So many times you'll see a guy and it's they'll make a diving catch, but it's like you just lost 2 yards, man.
Yeah.
This feels like this is going to end up being a 25-24 game.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but if you, I guess you've gone for 2. I'm not gonna say if you score, do you go for just a 1 to make it where a field goal would win it? I don't know. I guess they don't kick though, so that may not matter.
Yeah, I don't know if Newton kicks at all. Oh, hit as he threw, man. Wall's defense once again. JPS Golfer says, I hope we win in the most boring game of the weekend. I'm sorry, what team is yours? Oh, quarterback for Newton is hurt.
Oh, he took a shot.
Yeah, he did.
Not really a great time for your quarterback to be injured on the play of the season here.
Your freshman quarterback at that.
I mean, you got 4th and 15. You got to get to first. There's no way around that. And you're gonna have to sub now unless they burn their last
now,
time
right?
out.
So he's not coming in for this play. So
Yeah, unless they would have to burn their last time out, which you don't really want to do.
And that's another thing. And of course, you do get the 2-minute warning, but Newton has had to call a couple timeouts at the worst time. You can burn them in the first, as we were joking earlier. You don't take them into the second half with you, but in the second half, in my opinion, unless it's a massively key play, I would rather take a delay of game, a false start, than burn a timeout.
It's a lower body injury, limping. I thought it might be like an upper shoulder or something, the way he took
yeah,
that
because
hit.
he kind of pulled him with the guy hit him, pulled him backwards.
Yeah. And I will say this, even if you called a timeout, I don't think he's physically ready. I just think he could.
So let's see what we've got here. Who's going to come into the game? Is that, I mean, if it was a running play, if it was like 4th and 5, maybe you do a wildcat. Yeah. I don't know. And they may do it anyway. Is that Porter?
Yep. They're looking to throw.
Oh, he's got an arm.
Oh,
it's a flag. Oh, it's a flag. Oh, man. What? That was a good throw by Porter. He's got a good arm.
He's going to get called for a pass interference. Wow. You want to talk about bailing them out, man. Maybe Wall should have called a timeout after everything and got themselves right, because you're literally saying the one thing you can't do is a pass interference.
So here's my question for you guys. We talked about it all year in our broadcast, usually at least when I talk to different guys or I broadcast with different guys. This should be a change in rule right here. This penalty should be spotted right where this flag is. We need to get rid of the 15-yard penalty in high school. Like, there's no issue, because I feel like that right there, you 15 yards, okay, you give him 15. Like, if it's a big play, I wish they'd spot foul these.
Well, it's funny you say that. I agree, but there's a lot of people on the NFL side saying it shouldn't be a spot foul, that it should only be a 15-yard. I agree with y'all. I think because you're going to just have, like you said, hey, I'm about to get beat for a touchdown, I'll just tackle him. It'll only be 15 yards.
Yeah, I always coach the guys. If you're beat, throw them down.
Yeah,
Is Porter down too?
That's another injury. It looks like, is it 8?
Oh, it's 8. Okay, whoo. Cameron Hunter, man, it looks like it's a cramp.
Yeah, I think he's all right. Just cramped up.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, because that is a big discussion in the NFL. Like, hey, it shouldn't be a spot foul; it should be a 15-yard penalty. And I'm like, well, you're just telling the defender, just tackle the guy. Then at the end of the day,
yeah,
and that's exactly what will happen in the NFL, no doubt.
I mean, you still see that anyway when a guy's beat and he knows he's beat. He's going to try to just tackle him. Now it's going to be 3rd down, and we're going to go to the 2-minute timeout. So, again, even if Newton scores here, man, their backs are against the wall because they only have one timeout. I mean, you're going to have to onside kick it and go from there. And it's kind of funny we say that. Onside kicks at the 2A and 3A level have been game-changing this year. Mount Enterprise, of course, against Bremont. Joaquin against Refugio. Man, just a masterclass of you're down 2 scores. You score, you get an onside kick, you score, and then they fumble, and you score again. And the next time Refugio saw the ball, they were down 9 points.
I mean, hey, if it works, I missed the onside kick surprise in the NFL. I know they've got the new kickoff thing, but like, hey, I've got to tell you that I'm doing an onside kick. Well, that takes all the strategy away. Like, you can't surprise and do an onside kick anymore. I completely dislike that totally. I see what they're trying to do for safety, but like that's dumb. They should change that somehow. I don't know how it works, but I mean, if you're trying for an onside kick, let me just tell you, hey, I'm doing an onside kick. Put your hands team in. Like, that takes the whole onside kick strategy away. I personally like the XFL. What is it?
4th and 15.
Yeah, where you get that option, like, hey, we'll take this.
And you know why they won't do that? Because in today's game, the 4th and 15 would end up almost being 50-50.
Yeah.
Because, I mean,
it just gives another option, because for right now, what they've got is not good.
And you're right. It's because of safety, but it even changed 6-7 years ago when you couldn't put all your guys on one side of the ball. And I get it. And I am 100% all about safety. We were talking about that with the Guardian caps, but at some point, these guys know what they're doing at this point. We know brain injuries. We know CTE. None of that's hidden anymore. And if you decide to be Cam Scattaboo and just bang your head into the wall, at least make it entertaining.
I mean, it's not like they're not getting paid to do it.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, millions of dollars. So I don't know. I just think it takes some of the kind of like the 1-and-1 getting removed from the high school game in the last couple of years in basketball.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so there's no 1-and-1 now. They do 5 fouls per quarter, and it resets every quarter. And if you get 5, then it's a 2-shot.
Wow.
Yeah, so it takes the whole 1-and-1 strategy out of the game. So you don't have that. The only place 1-and-1 is now shot is college basketball, because they've got the 2 halves still for the men. The women have 5 fouls in a quarter. That's their rule too. So it's
the first basketball game I called after that went into effect. I'm like, wait, what? That's what I get for not reading the rules, right? I'm like, this is what?
It's weird. It just takes that, they can miss one at the front end of a free throw and you get the possession. It's almost similar to the onside kick, right? You foul somebody, hope they missed the free throw, and you get the ball back without any points going on the board. And they've kind of taken that out of the game a little bit. Now, it obviously can miss 2 free throws, but, missing that one is a lot more likely than them missing both of them. So I don't know. That's another thing that I'm kind of sad that they've taken out.
Old men shouting out at the sky right now.
Well, normally we go to the officials meeting before the year starts, and we didn't do it this year. And the first game we had the 2-minute warning. I'm like, wait, what?
Oh yeah, that was
Grant and I did the same thing in Garrison and Watsco, and we were like, wait a minute, are they doing the water breaks again? That was a thing for a while, and then it was literally Coach Alvarez from Garrison, the head coach, said, oh no, we got the 2-minute warning now. And we're like, oh yeah, that's kind of weird.
Well, here's the game, guys, right here.
Yep, got a flag.
Ugh.
I mean, another holding.
That was a late call, whatever it is. Hey, JBS Golfer, sorry I didn't see earlier. You said you hope you win in the most boring game of the weekend. Who are you supporting?
Yeah, because we want to know this boring game you want to see, because I don't want to see a boring game. I want to see an exciting game.
Well, a lot of people think if it's a defensive game, which this one's turning out to be more a defensive game, right? It's a boring game. And I'm like, that's actually one of the more enjoyable games, right?
Well, we had a lot of basketball games this year, Chris. We had basketball games all over the place here in East Texas. It was very interesting. We had the Grapeland, Lovelady, Mount Enterprise, Overton district. All 4 of those teams put up basketball numbers against each other. So I saw a 77-69 win for Grapeland. And the score after the first quarter was 0-0.
It's Jason Smith from Stephenville.
Wow.
That's JBS golfer. So yeah, he wants a boring game because it's Kilgore.
Oh well.
All right, let's see what the call is. A lot of talking on this one.
Yeah, they're really thinking about this, and I like to see the referees, especially it's an important call. Then they need to get this right. After the dead ball, personal foul. Oh, against Newton. That hurts. 4th down and 16 now.
Oh,
jeez. That's kind of the whole game kind of boils into that one play, right? Newton controlling, and then a silly flag.
12 penalties, 100 yards. And I don't know if I agree with this. They're going to burn their timeout not to have a 10-second runoff. I don't know if you do. I think you would rather take the 10-second and it doesn't matter now unless you get an onside kick. You're not going to have enough possessions to win this game. Man, that's tough.
Well, here's the deal. I think what he's probably thinking is he wants time to think about this play. You got 4th and 16. You've got your not your quarterback in there. You've got a backup or the Wildcat quarterback or whoever you've got. So this is a weird situation for them. And so they got bailed out last time in this situation.
You've got a trick play in your back pocket. You might want to pull it out right now.
You better pull out all the trick plays. And I know what Wall's telling their team is no pass interference. Do not touch the receiver.
I'm saying now, go for the hook and lateral, man.
We'll see where they go.
All right, here we go. 4th and 16. This is the game right here. Oh my God!
They got it, and he scored! What a play!
Oh
my goodness!
What the hell just happened?
He just wanted it more. Okay, Terry. So what happened was they probably said, "Don't touch the receiver," so they were very timid, and then the Newton guy just went up and took it.
Oh my gosh! What an epic play!
They were trying not to touch him.
Yeah, that's exactly what they were doing.
100%. Great call, Brett. And they get the 2-point conversion. So it's going to come down to the extra or the onside kick. But man, no matter what, thank you, Newton, for keeping this a game. Wow. I am just mind blown at this right now.
Now we're waiting on the bounce of a football here. Man, what a play.
So,
and your backup quarterback comes in, or your whoever. I don't know if he's the backup or just someone they put him in, Samuel there, and throws a great pass.
50-50, right?
Yeah.
I think he was the starter to begin the year. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I know that Foster didn't start the year as the starter, but man, just this is why I love sports, man. Whenever you think it's going to go one way, it goes the other. Wall, now you've got the pucker up moment. Y'all remember Waterboy when the kicker's looking for his guy and he goes, "There's my bitch."
What was the score at halftime?
It was 25-8.
Yeah, 25-8.
Okay. So they've shut him out this second half. Yeah.
Newton has scored 16 consecutive points.
I'm telling you, Newton has dominated this game except for the fact that the penalties, the turnovers,
and the block punt.
I mean,
the block punt is the difference. I mean, you can make other, but I'm saying the block punt is the difference in this game. Now,
but you got the guy that got stripped by his own man, Terry.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, geez, you're looking back at that. I mean,
running back's fault or left tackle's fault, right?
Oh man!
All right, here we go. Wall has dominated special teams.
So here's the deal: Newton doesn't have a kicker that they use on extra points or field goals or anything. So sometimes those kickers have some weird bouncy.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not your normal kick, so you don't really know what to expect. This could be interesting.
Here we go.
How we do this, man. Edge of my feet here. Here's the bounce. He got it. Oh, it's there. Oh my God. It's still loose. Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
Wall got that, but barely. Oh, it was there. It went through like 4 or 5 guys.
Oh my goodness.
You guys are like 10 seconds ahead of me on my replay. I was like,
Sorry,
"Ah."
Chris. I hate ruining it for you.
No, you're good. Oh, wow. Oh, number 11 should have had it.
Yes.
Oh, it got back to the back guy. I mean, that's
great call, Brett. You made the point. Like Newton's kicker's a straight on kicker. He did a weird, just like kick it as hard as he can, and it bounced straight up in the air.
Oh
my goodness.
Oh, and they had a chance to get it on the hop at first Newton did.
Yeah.
And then the other guy had it, and then his compadre came and helped him out. Man, what a finish to this game.
What a great game. Did I not call it? Did I not tell y'all 4 minutes ago it felt like this is going to end up being a 25-24 game?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Congratulations to Wall. Their first state championship. For Newton, a tough loss, but they are so young. They will be back. Man, this is what I've wanted all week. Man,
Hey, so our streak's going to come to an end tomorrow of first-time state champions.
Yeah,
for sure. We start getting into the blue bloods.
Jeez, man,
that's a great game. If you're Wall, you're thinking you're a lucky star to get out of here with the win. If you're Newton, you've got a lot of things to look back at this season. They got some guys coming back, so this game is going to be one that they're going to have, and they're going to be like, man, we got to clean this stuff up. And the mistakes really just cost them.
Well, I think you said it best, and this is nothing against Wall. You won state, but you got outplayed at a lot of key times, but you didn't commit the penalties. You made the plays when you needed to. But either way, what a great game. Congratulations to Wall. I mean, we say that. Hang on. We want to have a Giants Eagles play from 1979. Wall will win state. I do appreciate y'all both being on here. Man, well, this was one of the best game of the day in the football broadcast.
Great.
Yeah, we turned it on. It was, one-sided, and shout out to Newton. They didn't quit. They chipped away and gave everything they had here. And that's what you want to see.
I don't know who gets the offensive player of the game. I mean, I kind of feel like Porter from Newton should, even though they lost. He had 165 yards, and, Wall didn't really, do anything special offensively. It was, again, a key block punt and a couple plays.
Yeah, the block punt. Who got the block punt? That may be defensive. Do they count that as defense if it's a?
Oh, I don't. That's a good point. I don't know actually.
That would be probably the person that I would give it to. I mean, the fumble they didn't really strip that. So
well, Braden on defense and Sisson, they had 21 tackles between them. Braden had 11 tackles, solo tackles. 14 total.
Offensive MVP, the recovery of the onside kick.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, that
was 13. I think it was that Braden kid.
Yep.
I mean, if they could give an MVP for that, because that was the play of the game for Wall. I mean, that could have gone really badly, because if they don't get that, Newton scores. I mean, they're.
I kind of agree. Newton had the momentum at that time. That man. I mean, wow. This is
that number one receiver, is it Robertson? He had 102 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's probably the 2 touchdowns, probably for sure.
All right, boys. I appreciate you joining us. This was a fun second half. We'll be back tomorrow as a broadcast for the 11 o'clock game. Both of y'all are welcome to jump on if y'all can, but we're going to end this one. Great game. It's funny because Newton, I'm like you, Brett. Newton's going to feel like they should have won this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really will. And, I mean, they had a great season. They've got it rolling, and would not be surprised to see them make noise next year, too, with what they've got coming back. Hopefully the quarterback's okay, Foster. Hopefully he's all right there. But, man, what a finish.
All right. Everybody have a great night. We'll be back here next in the morning. I think pregame starts at 10:30.
Tomorrow's word of the day is the red dog, Terry. The red dogs tomorrow.
That's a good word.
It's going to be a red dog day tomorrow. Either way, the Carthage and Kilgore Bulldogs both will be out in full force. So it's going to be a lot of red in the stands tomorrow.
Speaking of, I know it's a generic name, but there's a lot of Bulldogs that have played for state this week.
Yeah. You had Hamilton already win state, Bulldogs.
Yoakum.
Yeah. Hey, Bulldogs are
It's a Bulldog year.
They've got a lot of now. Wall wasn't Bulldogs, Newton wasn't either, but
No.
hey, Bulldogs are in the lead with state titles so far. So maybe we can add a couple more of those tomorrow.
All right. We'll see everybody tomorrow right here on State Championship Watch.